Chapter 1939. There's indeed a treasure, and it's a divine crystal. Tuoba Tianzi is quite lucky. Yangming's eyes flickered. On the side, Huang Fuqian snorted softly. The holy son of 10,000 Thunder heaved a sigh of relief. He believed that they had won since the divine crystal was cut out. His red divine crystal was saved, and he thought that the other party would obediently leave Murong Qingqing's side. As Tuoba Tianzi's movements became faster, a sparkling divine crystal appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, the countless martial artists present, including the Holy Son, the Holy Daughter, the senior mighty figures, and the two grannies from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground were all surprised. They all looked forward with rapt attention. As expected of the top young God-favored spiritual master. His talent and strength were indeed terrifying. Yes, there were very few people who could cut out a divine crystal, and Tuoba Tianzi seemed to be only about 30 years old. It was indeed shocking to have such an achievement at such a young age. Exclamations were heard one after another. Tuoba Tianzi also raised his chin proudly, and looked down at everyone. All of this was within his expectations. Then, he looked down at Lin Xian and said coldly, "Boy, how is it? Do you know my strength now? It's impossible for you to win against me. So, kneel in front of me obediently, kowtow, and admit your mistake. What's there to be arrogant about? Didn't you just cut out a divine crystal? What's the big deal? It's not like I haven't cut it out before. And judging from the size of your divine crystal, it's not even as big as the one I cut out before." Lin Xian sneered. Indeed, the divine crystal that Tuoba Tianzi cut out was 2 times smaller than Lin Xian's. "Humph, you're stubborn. You were completely lucky to be able to cut out a divine crystal last time. I don't believe that you can cut out a divine crystal this time. That rock of yours is just a piece of trash. Just wait and cry." At this point, not only him, but everyone around looked at Lin Xian. This was because they were very curious about what kind of treasure Lin Xian could produce after making such a big commotion. The 10,000 Thunder Saint narrowed his eyes. "Brat, hurry up and leave the fairy's side, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for taking action." Older brother Xian. Murong Qingqing was also worried. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry. She also did not expect that this Tuoba Tianzi was actually so impressive, to be able to easily cut out a piece of divine crystal. "Don't worry, I won't lose to him," Lin Xian comforted. He naturally had his reasons for choosing that meter-tall rock. Although he didn't find any light in the stone, it was true that he didn't find any light. However, he deduced that there should be treasures inside, because he felt a heart-palpitating aura from inside. It was as if there was a terrifying existence inside the stone. When Lin Xian had encountered that stone, the great dragon sword soul in his body had automatically activated. Lin Xian had never encountered such a scene before. Therefore, he chose this stone without hesitation. Because he also wanted to see what exactly was inside that could alarm the great dragon sword soul. Crack, crack. The cracks on the stone became bigger and bigger, but no light appeared. Seeing this, Tuoba Tianzi and the disciples of the Tuoba family became complacent again. "I told you, it's definitely a useless stone. You still don't believe it? Look, there's no light. This brat is not good at all. He can't be compared with my big brother Tuoba Tianzi." Tuoba Tianzi's lips also curled into a disdainful smile. This scene was within his expectations. The 10,000 Thunder Saints snorted. He knew that he would definitely win this time. Ouyang Ningfei and Huang Fuqian frowned. This shouldn't be. Could it be that they really misjudged? Lin Xian was unusually calm. The 1-meter-tall rock in front of him had more and more cracks. Crack, crack, crack. In the end, the entire rock broke into pieces. "There's nothing." Murong Qingqing's face was grave. She did not believe that the book would fail. "Brat, you've already lost. Kneel down and kowtow to apologize." Tuoba Tianzi sneered. The 10,000 Thunder Saints snorted. "From now on, stay away from the Jade Lake Saintess, or I'll kill you with my own hands." The disciples of the Tuoba family also sneered. However, Lin Xian snorted. Who said that I lost? Who said that I didn't cut anything out? Open your dog eyes and see what this is. With that, Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and the rubble on the ground rolled down, revealing the situation inside. What's this? The disciples were puzzled. They found that there was indeed something in the rubble, but it was different from what they had imagined. It was not a crystal at all, but a claw. It was a claw as big as a human's palm, but it was furry with green hair. There were also 3 sharp fingernails. Is this a demonic beast's claw? How dare a broken claw be so arrogant? No one would want it even if you gave it to them for free. How dare you compare it with my big brother Tuoba Tianxi's divine crystal? I'm dying of laughter. Kid, I think you're out of your mind. What's this? It's worse than trash. Tuoba Tianxi also sneered. That's right. It's just a piece of trash. Do you really think it can compare with my divine crystal? However, as soon as he finished speaking, a white-haired old man in the crowd suddenly rushed over. He swayed his body and arrived in front of the rubble. He was extremely excited. He stared at the small claw on the ground. What did I just see? It's really that thing. What's going on? Everyone was dumbfounded. The old man was so old that his hair almost reached his ankles. However, the aura on his body was abnormally powerful, like a burning furnace of heaven and earth. Whoosh! Right at this moment, another old man appeared. His hair was as messy as a bird's nest, and his clothes were tattered as if they were antiques. However, his eyes were unusually sharp, like 2 heavenly sabers that instantly cut through the void. Heavens, it's really that thing! The old man with the bird's nest hair was even more excited. He directly knelt on the ground and pressed his face against the ground to carefully examine the small green claw. What the hell? What's going on? Everyone's eyeballs fell to the ground. They really did not dare to imagine. Those were 2 old men who were living fossils. It could be said that even mighty figures had to be respectful when they saw them. However, such powerful figures had lost their composure at that moment. Moreover, they were facing a small green claw. More importantly, the small green claw was previously despised by everyone and was regarded as a piece of trash. Little guy, did you cut this thing out? The 2 old men looked at Lin Xian. Their eyes flickered as if divine flames were dancing in them. Yes. Lin Xian was frightened by the 2 of them, but he still nodded. How about selling it to me? I'll pay you 2 divine crystals. Chapter 1940. Clang! Many of the disciples of the Tuoba family fell to the ground with a dazed look on their faces. Were they blind? Someone was willing to pay 2 divine gems for a piece of trash? How was that possible? Tuoba Tianxi's face was pale and his lips were trembling. He could not believe what he had just seen. In his opinion, the claw was a piece of trash that was not worth a single cent. However, someone was willing to pay 2 divine gems for it. The value of the claw had exceeded the value of the item. Damn it! That's impossible! How can that item be worth 2 divine gems? Could it be that you're mistaken? Tuoba Tianxi could not help but scream in agitation. Mistake? Could it be that you are suspecting this old man? The elder with messy hair stood up and looked at Tuoba Tianxi coldly. This scene gave Tuoba Tianxi a fright. That was because that gaze was too sharp. Kid, which family are you from? How dare you be so rude and question me? Tuoba Tianxi was sweating profusely. He was the top genius of the Tuoba family. However, he was like an ant in front of these living fossils. He could not fight back at all. Senior, please stop. At that moment, 2 elders of the Tuoba family rushed over and apologized. This is the number 1 genius of the Tuoba family. He is still young and doesn't know any better. If he offended you, please forgive him. The 2 elders of the Tuoba family were respectable people. However, they were apologizing to Tuoba Tianxi like he was their junior. They did not dare to be arrogant at all. Tuoba family? Humph, the younger generation these days is getting worse and worse. They even dare to doubt this old man's words. I'll spare his life for the sake of the Tuoba family. If you doubt me again, I'll kill you! The living fossil with messy hair snorted and ignored those people. Instead, he turned around and stared at Lin Xian. Kid, why don't you sell this item to me? The surrounding people were dumbfounded. The powerful Tuoba family did not dare to raise their head after being reprimanded. The talented Tuoba Tianxi had shocked everyone by cutting a divine gem. But now, he was defeated. The reason for that was because the item Tuoba Tianxi had taken out was even more frightening. Although they still didn't know what it was, the price of 2 divine crystals had already surpassed Tuoba Tianxi's. The 10,000 Thunder Saints' face was frighteningly dark. He didn't expect to be defeated at the last moment. It was so long that it was incomprehensible. The other saints and saintesses were also surprised. Even Ouyang Ningfei and Huangfu Qian frowned. Clearly, this situation was beyond their expectations. However, at this moment, the situation in front of them changed again. The living fossil whose hair reached his heels also said, 2 divine crystals are nothing. I'll say 3. Little guy, sell it to me. To be honest, Lin Xian was stunned. This was because he didn't know what the little green claws were for. Not to mention him, even Murong Qingchen was astonished. But soon, she revealed a beautiful smile. This time, Lin Xian won again. The 2 old ladies of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground saw that something was wrong and hurriedly went to find the experts of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. At this moment, another voice came from afar. 3 divine crystals and a top earth rank thunder technique. I wonder if you're willing to accept it, little brother? Hearing this voice, everyone was stunned and looked back. The 10,000 Thunder Saints' face turned green because the bidder was none other than the elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground. The elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground had offered a high price for the claw, but he was going against the other party. Wasn't this a slap to his face? The others were also shocked. They didn't expect the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground to participate. But soon they cried out in alarm. Because after this, the elder of the moon-worshipping sect appeared and was willing to buy it at a high price. Not only that, but the Ouyang family, Huangfu family, and 5 Elements sect also sent experts and offered sky-high prices. Buzz! A light flashed in the void, and then a woman in red descended. She was surrounded by colorful clouds, and the lotus platform under her feet flickered. She looked like a fairy who had obtained the Tao. Elder! Seeing this, Murong Qingqing also exclaimed softly. The beautiful woman in the palace dress nodded with a smile, and then said, The Jade Lake Sacred Ground is willing to buy it for 5 divine crystals. Lin Xian was stunned. Wasn't this happiness a little too sudden? Previously, he was still worried about 1 divine crystal, but now, someone actually offered 5 divine crystals to buy the claw he had cut out. However, he was still very surprised. Senior, I really want to know what that green claw is. How can it be worth so many divine crystals? To be honest, he was very surprised. Wasn't that green claw the corpse of a demonic beast? How could it be so valuable? This is indeed the corpse of a demonic beast, but it's not the corpse of an ordinary demonic beast. It has existed for at least 100,000 years. Moreover, it's very likely to be even older, the beautiful woman in red said indifferently. What? More than 100,000 years? Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. No wonder it was so valuable. It turned out that it had existed for so long. One had to know that a great emperor could only live for 10 or 20,000 years. 100,000 years was a very long time ago. Even if it was a treasure, it would have disappeared long ago. But the fact that the little green claw was able to survive was truly shocking. The others were also puzzled. How could something that was 100,000 years old be passed down? Of course, ordinary things can't be passed down, but what if it's sealed in a divine crystal? At this moment, a living fossil said, This claw is not an ordinary claw. It's a claw sealed in a divine crystal. It can be said that it's extremely lucky to have survived until now. Although you can't see the divine crystal now, it's because the divine crystal has exhausted its energy over the endless years. We're also lucky to have cut it out at this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the claw wouldn't have survived for another 2 or 3 years. So that's how it is. Everyone understood. They didn't expect that there would be so many mysteries in a small claw. Lin Xian was also surprised when he found out. However, this thing was useless to him. Therefore, he directly sold it to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Firstly, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground offered the highest price. Secondly, Murong Qingqing was the saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. With such a good thing, he naturally wanted to leave it to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. With 5 divine crystals in his hands, Lin Xian couldn't stop smiling. Today was really a big harvest. Not only that, but the nerves of Tuoba Tianzi and the Thousand Thunder Saint also belonged to him. In total, he had a total of 9 divine crystals in his hands. It was definitely a shocking wealth. Even the Almighty didn't have so many divine crystals. Chapter 1941. Humph! Tuoba Tianzi's complexion was frighteningly dark. He gnashed his teeth and his body started to tremble. He couldn't accept this failure. However, now wasn't the time to make a move. He could only coldly snort and quickly leave. The 10,000 lightning holy sun turned into a bolt of lightning and left. He didn't want to be bullied here. However, he also decided to deal with Tuoba Tianzi after the stone gambling convention. Although the others were also envious of the divine crystals, they didn't dare to make a move against Lin Xian. Lin Xian had already become a hot commodity. The 10,000 lightning holy ground, the 5 elements sect, the Ouyang family clan, the Huangfu family clan, and other peak powers all extended an olive branch to him. However, Lin Xian tactfully rejected all of them. He still had proper business to attend to, and that was to visit the All Beginnings holy ground. Half a day later, Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised to see that the All Beginnings holy ground had also sent people over. Just like the other holy grounds, they had invited Lin Xian to the All Beginnings holy ground as a guest. Lin Xian thought about this request for a moment. Then, he nodded his head and agreed. It just so happened that he wanted to go to the All Beginnings holy ground anyway. Now that the other party had taken the initiative to invite him, it couldn't be any better. In the following days, Lin Xian didn't continue to go stone gambling. After all, he was in too much of the limelight right now. Therefore, he decided to stay in his small house in Murong Qingqing. The two of them chatted about love and Tao. Their days were very leisurely. Finally, the Grand Stone Gambling Convention came to an end. As for the experts of the 5 great holy grounds, the Tuoba family, the Ouyang family, and the Huangfu family, the peak seeker spirit masters of these clans had all been invited by the All Beginnings holy ground. Lin Xian was also among them. The All Beginnings holy ground was a peerless holy ground of the southern domain. After entering the All Beginnings holy ground, Lin Xian didn't have the leisure to admire the mountains and rivers. Instead, he was transmitting his voice to Lu Mingwei. Lu Mingwei was also very excited. Although she was inside the Black Earth, she had already spread out her soul power. She hadn't expected Lin Xian to come in so quickly. This was truly out of her expectations. The people of the All Beginnings Holy Land invited Lin Xian and the people from the 5 great holy lands and the 3 great seeking spirit master clans inside. He arranged for them to rest on the mountain peak. The purpose of the invitation this time was, firstly, to allow the various factions of the sacred lands to interact with each other. Moreover, there were several stones in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Therefore, they asked these peak experts and powerful spirit-seeking masters to examine them, speculating whether or not there was a treasure inside, and what kind of treasure was inside. Lin Xian also stayed for the time being. However, what he didn't know was that there was an enormous mountain peak in the All Beginnings Holy Land that resembled a giant sword that reached the heavens. This was the peak of the 5th bloodline. Above them were the experts of the 5th bloodline. Among them, in a few huge palaces, there were experts who opened their eyes. Stars flickered in their eyes. Hoo. These experts frowned. Why do I feel Lu Mingyue's presence? Indeed. According to the formation, that slut seems to have arrived at the All Beginnings Holy Land. How is that possible? We've set up an inescapable net in the southern region. Even a fly wouldn't be able to fly in. How did he get in? Could it be related to the stone gambling convention? In the past 2 days, our sacred lands have invited a lot of people. Perhaps that slut is among them. Damn it! We must find her. We must not let her meet the people of the 7th bloodline. After giving out orders, the people of the 5th bloodline began to move in secret. They weren't the only ones. The people of the 7th bloodline were also overjoyed. The people of the 5th bloodline had a formation that could detect Lu Mingyue's whereabouts. Moreover, they were even more attentive than the people of the 5th bloodline. After all, Lu Mingyue was their future hope. Therefore, they had sensed Lu Mingyue the moment she entered the sacred lands. Immediately, they dispatched experts to secretly meet with Lu Mingyue. At night, the starry sky flickered. On the mountain peak, a cool breeze blew by. It was somewhat chilly. Lin Xian wasn't together with Murong Qingqing. After all, he was still concealing his identity. As for Murong Qingqing, she was the holy daughter of the Jade Lake Sacred Lands. In front of everyone, it was impossible for the two of them to be together. Therefore, he chose a mountain peak for himself. How is it? Is it done? Lin Xian asked. It's done. I've already sent a voice transmission to the 7th bloodline. I think they'll come to pick me up soon. Lu Mingyue's voice also came from the black earth. Boom! However, at this moment, the void above their heads began to ripple rapidly like seawater. A mysterious power surged in all directions. Immediately after, a black-robed man appeared in the void. He was like a ghost, surrounded by incomparably dark black holes. Although he was extremely powerful, his aura was well hidden and did not alarm the other experts. However, Lin Xian's soul power was extremely powerful. He instantly sensed it. In the next moment, he suddenly raised his head, and his pupils constricted. They're here! Lin Xian was extremely shocked. He didn't expect the other party to find him so quickly. Judging from the killing intent, it was definitely not Lu Mingyue's master, but someone from the 5th bloodline. Lu Mingyue, you be *TCH. I didn't expect you to be able to come here. This is really beyond my expectations. However, I won't let you meet the people of the 7th bloodline. A cold voice sounded with a biting cold killing intent. Then, black-robed figures appeared in all directions on the entire mountain peak. Those people's auras were terrifying and powerful. They formed hand seals with their palms, and a strange energy was emitted, forming a huge formation that enveloped the entire mountain range. Oh no! Seeing this formation, Lin Xian frowned. He could naturally sense that this was a kind of isolation formation. They were fighting here, and the people outside should not be able to sense it. In the next moment, he quickly summoned the Crimson Dragon and had it break the formation. At the same time, Lin Xian let out a long roar. The aura on his body suddenly erupted, and a shocking sword chi rushed upwards. Boom! However, the black-robed man above shouted coldly. With a clap of his palm, a large hand appeared out of thin air. Like a mountain, it collided with the shocking sword chi, and then shattered the sword chi that filled the sky. Along with it came the pressure of an almighty, as well as a terrifying power. It's useless. In front of me, you're like ants. Today, you're not going anywhere. Kill them. With that order, the surrounding black-robed men moved quickly. Boom, boom, boom! Half of the black-robed men formed hand seals to maintain the formation. The other half of the black-robed men unleashed powerful energy, transforming into bolts of black lightning that charged towards Lin Xian. Whoosh! Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and dozens of sword chi flew out. At the same time, Lu Mingyue also came out of the black earth and displayed her powerful strength. Boom, boom, boom! The collision between the two was earth-shattering. However, the formation concealed everything. From the outside, the entire mountain peak was quiet, and there was no movement at all. However, there were a few streams of light appearing in the sky outside. Chapter 1942. The auras of these figures were also very powerful. Their target was also the mountain peak where Lin Xian was. Lu Minghua should be on that mountain peak. They could not sense Lu Minghua's aura. Could it be that something had happened? Let's speed up! The figures looked anxious. They realized that Lu Minghua's aura had been concealed, which gave them a bad feeling. In the next moment, they could not help but speed up. However, they were soon stopped by someone. Junior brothers and sisters, where are you going? An old voice sounded. Senior brother Lu. Damn it, you people from the fifth bloodline have also received the news. I advise you not to go. Lu Minghua is also a sinner of our sacred ground. For such a person, we should capture and kill her on the spot. How dare you? One of the middle-aged men shouted angrily. Why wouldn't I dare? The void fluctuated, and an old man appeared. Although he was old, his eyes were shining with a powerful aura. He was wearing a dark blue Taoist robe with mysterious Taoist patterns on it. With a light stomp of his foot, blue ripples spread out like seawater, forming a domain. It quickly enveloped the entire surroundings. Seeing this scene, the pupils of the experts from the seventh bloodline constricted. Everyone, break out of the encirclement! The middle-aged man shouted coldly. Then, the few of them moved and rushed in all directions. It's useless. You can't escape. The old man in the blue starry robe sneered, and the center of his eyes became illusory. Then, in the void, streaks of blue ripples spun rapidly like ocean waves, completely trapping the experts of the seven lineages. On the mountain peak below, Lin Xian held the demon's sword in his hand and blocked the attacks of the 6 men in black. He quickly asked, Why haven't the people from the fifth bloodline arrived yet? Bang! Lu Minghua waved her palm and sent the 3 of them flying. At the same time, she said, They should be here soon. Could it be that something happened? After hearing this, the old man in black sneered disdainfully. Don't count on the people from the 7th bloodline. They won't come. What? Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the people of the 5th bloodline had intercepted them. This was not good news at all. After all, this place was none other than the All Beginnings Holy Land. No matter how strong he was, it was impossible for him to contend with these people in the Holy Land's territory. Therefore, they had to break out. As long as the people of the 7th bloodline arrived, Lu Minghua would meet them, and Lin Xian would leave on the Black Earth. Kill! Therefore, Lin Xian did not hesitate and unleashed an ultimate strike. The terrifying sword she whistled and let out a roar that made one's heart tremble. Then, like a long dragon, it swept across the sky. Pung pung pung! The 6 black-clothed men beside him were sent flying by the sword. Damn it, how can this kid be so powerful? The 6 black-clothed men's faces were incomparably solemn. Humph! In the sky, the black-robed mighty figure snorted coldly. He had also discovered that Lin Xian's strength was beyond his expectations. Therefore, the mighty figure in black decided to do it himself. He stretched out his palm, and the black palm rapidly enlarged. It was incomparably black, resembling a primordial devil mountain. Its aura was terrifying as it rapidly pressed downwards. Whoosh! Lin Xian used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and turned into a stream of light. He quickly dodged and stabbed out with his sword. Humph! The black-robed mighty figure sneered disdainfully. He was powerful, and his opponent was merely a little king. How dare he attack him? He was truly courting death. In the next moment, he pressed down with his palm. Instantly, the incomparably black devil palm turned into black flames and rushed toward the sword chi. Boom! The collision between the two was earth-shattering. One after another, pitch-black cracks appeared in the sky. In the end, the sword chi was shattered. As for the pitch-black devil palm, it also flew for a while before disappearing into the void. He was actually able to block it. The black-robed mighty figure furrowed his brows. A little king was able to block his attack. It was simply too inconceivable. No wonder you could come to the Holy Land. As expected, you have some skills. However, do you think you can defeat me with just this? The black-robed mighty figure sneered. Then, his body shone with light. Strands of primal chaos energy appeared and formed 8 primal chaos heads. They were incomparably malevolent, just like demonic beasts. A terrifying primal chaos energy filled the sky. Then, the wanton head spat out 8 primal chaos demonic figures. Each of them held a sword and saber in their hands. They were incomparably powerful and charged toward Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian took a deep breath. He also had a wanton clone standing in front of him. Instantly, 3 clones rapidly appeared. Boom! Intense collisions occurred. Countless rays of light flashed in the sky. A terrifying aura suppressed the surroundings. Damn it! You actually know how to use the Primal Chaos secret technique! The black-robed mighty figure's expression changed. He was too shocked. Meat stew was a secret technique of the All Beginnings Holy Land. How could his opponent know how to use it? Could it be that slut Lu Mingwei gave it to him? The black-robed mighty figure's expression turned cold. He decided that he had to kill his opponent. He couldn't allow this secret technique to spread. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was rapidly breaking through the array formation. Although the array formation formed by the black-robed men was profound, it still had flaws in front of the Crimson Dragon. Crack! Before long, the Crimson Dragon God created a small crack in the array formation. Although it was only a small crack, it was more than enough. The Crimson Dragon God roared. The terrifying dragon roar transmitted through the crack. Roar! This roar caused the earth to tremble. In an instant, the roar rushed out of the array formation and spread throughout the All Beginnings Holy Land. At this moment, countless powerful auras surged. One figure after another flew into the sky. They were extremely shocked. What's with this roar? Could it be that a demonic beast has entered? Damn it! Who is it that dares to cause trouble in the All Beginnings Holy Land? Angry roars resounded one after another. The crowd became even more confused. Damn it! Inside the array formation, the black-robed mighty figure's expression was incomparably ugly. He hadn't expected that the other party would be able to break through their array formation so quickly. Moreover, the roar was transmitted outside. This was something that he hadn't expected. Kill! At this moment, he couldn't care about anything else. He had to kill Lu Mingwei as soon as possible. Otherwise, things would become troublesome once the people from the 7th bloodline arrived. Therefore, the black-robed mighty figure turned into a streak of light. With a pitch-black scythe in his hand, he quickly slashed toward Lu Mingwei. Buzz! Lin Xian used Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and arrived beside Lu Mingwei. Then, he used the black earth to store Lu Mingwei. Shwa! In the next instant, he disappeared into the void. Just as he disappeared, a black scythe appeared and cut through the void. Ah! Damn brat! Get the hell out here! The black-robed mighty figure roared crazily. He was about to go crazy from anger. The surrounding black-robed mighty figures also joined forces to kill Lin Xian. But soon they were sent flying by Lin Xian. Some of them were even seriously injured. They were almost cut in half by the sword qi. Chapter 1943. Shock! None of them were a match for Lin Xian. Roar! At this time, the Crimson Dragon released 2 more roars. The sound was vast and mighty, spreading for thousands of miles. It was like a sudden clap of thunder that caused one's soul to tremble. What a terrifying roar! What kind of monster beast is this? Isn't it too terrifying? Everyone was shocked. As for the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists, they were finally unable to sit still. They followed the sound and quickly flew towards the mountain peak. Not far away, the expressions of the experts from the 7th bloodline also changed. Could it be Mingwei? Humph! The star-robed old man's expression was ice-cold. He had naturally discovered that the direction the roars were coming from was where Lu Mingwei was. However, wasn't there already an almighty expert besieging that place? How could there still be a change? He truly couldn't understand. But before long, 2 streaks of light appeared in the distance. An enormous aura rapidly burst forth and flew over. It's someone from the seventh bloodline! Seeing this scene, the star-robed old man's expression became even more gloomy. He knew that it would be difficult to succeed today. Thus, he sighed and disappeared into the void. Following his disappearance, the star-like vortexes in the sky also rapidly disappeared. We're saved. The experts from the seventh bloodline breathed a sigh of relief. There was nothing they could do about it. Their senior brother was simply too terrifying. Fortunately, their senior brother still had misgivings about the rules of the Holy Land and didn't openly attack them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to escape. In the next instant, they turned into streaks of light and flew forward. Boom! 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 Powerful auras descended one after another. Moreover, the array formation formed by the black-robed men shattered. When the black-robed almighty expert saw this scene, he gnashed his teeth and revealed an unwilling expression. But in the end, he still turned into countless strands of demonic energy that wrapped around the black-robed men and disappeared into the void. Who are you people? Who allowed you to fight here? Sensing the remnant energy fluctuations in the air, the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists that had rushed over had gloomy expressions. But at this time, Lin Xian controlled the black earth and a beautiful figure appeared. It was Lu Mingwei. As soon as she appeared, she flew into the sky and shouted, "Master! Disciple!" A middle-aged woman in a long red dress came out, her body exuding a monstrous aura. She looked at Lu Mingwei and said excitedly, "Good, good. It's good that you're back." Whoosh! Whoosh! Following the appearance of the woman in red, more than 10 mighty figures appeared in the surroundings. They descended and protected Lu Mingwei firmly. At this time, the cultivators from the other factions also arrived, as well as the guests from the other holy lands. When they saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. What? That woman is Lu Mingwei. She actually came back? Heavens, how is this possible? Doesn't her return mean that she's going to become the new saintess of all beginnings? Damn it, she actually managed to sneak in. Damn it, what are the people of the fifth bloodline doing? Why didn't they guard against her? The martial artists of the other factions gnashed their teeth, their expressions abnormally cold. The people from the fifth bloodline had also arrived. When they saw this scene, they were so angry that they were about to vomit blood. Soon, an expert from the fifth bloodline snorted coldly. Humph, what's the use of coming back? She's a sinner of the Holy Land. You'll still be punished if you come back. That's right. She's committed a capital crime. She's already become someone's maid. She doesn't deserve to be the new saintess. Cold shouts came one after another. However, the woman in red snorted coldly. If any of you have a problem with this, I'll exchange a few moves with him. Speaking of this, she grasped the red hidden sword at her waist. Suddenly, the aura of the woman in red erupted like a volcano, sweeping across the entire sky. In an instant, the area within a radius of 10,000 miles was dyed red. Bang! Bang! Many people turned pale and almost knelt on the ground. They couldn't bear this terrifying aura at all. A peerless mighty figure, this woman in red was actually a peerless mighty figure. The terrifying aura was like a divine monument, suppressing the void. Du Hongling, although you're a peerless mighty figure, don't bully others. The fifth bloodline isn't afraid of you. That's right. In terms of strength, you're no match for the fifth bloodline. Moreover, we won't bully others. We'll speak with facts. Lu Mingwei is indeed not suitable to be the new saintess. Moreover, I think it's a mistake for her to stay in the Holy Land. It's better to expel her from the sect. Do you think you can expel her just because you say so? The woman in red, Du Hongling, snorted coldly. News about my disciple has already spread throughout the entire eastern wilderness. What happened before was all the doing of Jingxiu from the fifth bloodline. My disciple wasn't captured at all, nor is she a traitor of the Holy Land. So, if you're not convinced, then go ahead and fight. I, Du Hongling, am not afraid of you. At this point, the aura on her body became fierce again. The clouds in the sky churned, and the red light turned into 3 huge long swords, each of which was 10,000 miles long. They were like giant dragons spiraling in the void. When the surrounding kings saw this scene, their faces turned pale. If a fight broke out, the entire mountain range would probably cease to exist, and they wouldn't be able to escape either. Lin Xian stood at the side. Looking at this scene, he was extremely shocked. Is this Lu Mingyue's master? What a domineering woman! However, he was relieved. With such a powerful master, it wouldn't be too difficult for Lu Mingyue to become the saintess. Du Honling, you're too presumptuous. At this moment, the void rippled again, and the star-robed old man from before appeared again. As he appeared, a middle-aged man with a yellow face appeared beside him. He was wearing a yellow robe, and his face was sallow. He looked extremely ordinary. However, as soon as he appeared, the expressions of the people from the Holy Land changed. Ma Yuanshan, you actually came out of seclusion! Du Hongling's expression was also very serious. Ma Yuanshan was the middle-aged man with a sallow face. He was also a peerless almighty. Therefore, his appearance caused the entire scene to change again. The two peerless almighties confronted each other, and their terrifying auras continued to rise. Moreover, they collided in the void, and each blow tore the void apart. Everyone quickly retreated, afraid that they would be affected by this energy. However, at this tense moment, the stars in the sky flickered, and then emitted light, condensing into a human face. Both of you stop. Come with me. There was a vast pressure in this voice, as if a god was looking down on the world. Seeing that starry face, the two peerless almighties' expressions turned serious. They hurriedly restrained their auras. As for the surrounding Holy Land's cultivators, they respectfully bowed. We pay our respects to the Holy Master. This starry face was actually condensed by the All Beginnings Holy Land's Holy Master. Lin Xian was also very nervous. The strength of a Holy Land's Holy Master was incomparably terrifying and unfathomable. Just the other party's aura was enough to make his entire body tense, as if he was facing a great enemy. Chapter 1944. The great dragon sword soul in his body also began to circulate rapidly to resist the pressure in the sky. Fortunately, the face of the Holy Lord of all beginnings in the sky quickly disappeared. Then, Du Honling, Ma Yuanshan, and the surrounding people all soared into the sky and flew into the distance. From the looks of it, they should be going to the Holy Lord of all beginnings. As for the others, their eyes flickered. Many of them looked at Lin Xian because they didn't expect Lin Xian to be with Lu Mingyue. This was even more shocking. For a time, many people guessed Lin Xian's true identity. Murong Qingqing was also very worried. However, Lin Xian sent her a voice transmission and told her not to come over for the time being. Lin Xian had 9 divine crystals in his hands. Even in the Holy Land of all beginnings, he had the ability to protect himself. Therefore, he didn't want Murong Qingqing to be involved in this maelstrom. Murong Qingqing said with concern, Big brother Xian, be careful. If you really can't do it, leave early. In the latter half of the night, many people wandered around the mountain peak where Lin Xian was. However, in the end, they didn't make a move. It was as if they were afraid of something. The next day, the people of the 7th branch came. They were very grateful that Lin Xian had escorted Lu Mingyue back. Moreover, they passed on Lu Mingyue's words. They said that they would definitely fulfill the agreement between the two of them. However, they would have to wait for some time. At the same time, the people of the 7th branch also gave Lin Xian some earth-rank treasures and some crystals. It seemed that they were quite rich. Lin Xian didn't hesitate to accept these things. He had escorted Lu Mingyue back for the reward. Of course, this reward was only a little bit of interest. The real benefits would have to wait until Lu Mingyue became the Holy Maiden of all beginnings. However, it would be soon. Soon, the people of the 7th branch left. However, half a day later, several people arrived. Seeing these people, Lin Xian frowned because they were people of the 5th branch. These were the disciples of the 5th bloodline. The one in the lead wore a green robe, and his expression was unusually cold. He walked up to Lin Xian and looked at him coldly. Then he asked, Are you the one who escorted Senior Sister Lu here? Although it was only one sentence, it surprised Lin Xian. Because just yesterday, the people of the fifth branch had called Lu Mingwei a B***tch, but today, they had already changed their way of addressing her as Senior Sister Lu. It seemed that Lu Mingwei had been reaccepted. This was good news for Lin Xian. However, he couldn't understand why the people from the fifth bloodline had come. Logically speaking, they should be thanking the people from the seventh bloodline. Could it be that the people from the fifth bloodline were looking for trouble? In the next moment, Lin Xian nodded. That's right, it's me. Who are you, and what do you want? We are naturally disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land. The green-robed youth said coldly. You escorted Senior Sister Lu back, which is a great contribution. We naturally have to treat you well. We've already prepared a banquet. Brother, if you don't have enough, why don't you come with us? Rest assured, we won't do anything to you. We just want to thank you properly. Thank me? Lin Xian sneered in his heart. These people were clearly people from the fifth bloodline. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. How could it be that they were purely thanking him? Most likely, this was a trap. They wanted to bring him over so that they could attack him. Because of that, Lin Xian shook his head. There's no need. I still have matters to attend to. There's no need for a banquet. How can that be? Right at this moment, a pink-clothed woman stood forward and arrogantly said, Our All Beginnings Holy Land will not owe anyone a favor. If you don't go, wouldn't it seem like we're not treating you well? You've already treated me very well. There's no need for an additional banquet. Furthermore, I still have other matters to attend to. Thus, you all should return. Lin Xian shook his head and refused. Brother, are you not giving us face? Hearing those words, the expressions of those people sank. Our elder has already spoken. No matter what, we must invite brother over today. If you don't give us face like this, won't we be punished when we return? That's right. Even if we have to tie you up, we must bring you out. The pink-clothed woman became even more aggressive. From the looks of it, as long as Lin Xian refused again, they would attack him. Lin Xian sneered. What's wrong? Are you all going to attack me because I'm not willing to go? Attack? Brother, you must be joking. We're not attacking you. We're only inviting you over. Men, come and escort this brother away. The green-clothed youth sneered. Immediately, 2 more disciples walked out from behind him. Their auras surged, and terrifying light enveloped Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. His body trembled, and he shattered the 2 illusory hands. Your All Beginnings Holy Land's way of treating guests is truly special. It's good that you know. This is only a warning. If you don't obediently leave with us, we won't do it again. Next time, it won't be so easy. Seeing that Lin Xian dared to resist, the green-clothed youth's expression sank. In the next instant, he coldly said, Take him away! Brat, obediently leave with us. The 2 disciples sneered. They quickly rushed toward Lin Xian from the left and right. Scram! Lin Xian snorted coldly and kicked out with his leg. Pun! Pun! The 2 disciples screamed miserably and were sent flying. You dare attack me? Seeing this scene, the pink-clothed woman shouted. Her beautiful eyes were filled with flames of anger. She truly didn't expect that the other party would dare to attack them in their holy land. They were truly reckless. Whoosh! In the next instant, she pulled out a red whip from her waist and lashed it forward. Whoosh! The red whip expanded in the wind, turning into a red flood dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws. In the blink of an eye, it arrived before Lin Xian. Lin Xian's expression was calm. He stretched out his palm and used the dragon capturing hand. A dragon-shaped claw appeared on his palm, and he grabbed forward. Hum! He caught the red flood dragon with his palm. The flood dragon struggled with all its might, flipping and slapping the void, but it couldn't break free. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the pink-clothed woman's face turned pale. She didn't expect the other party to be so powerful that he could catch her whip so easily. Damn it, let go of me! The pink-clothed woman stomped her feet in anger, but she couldn't pull back her long whip. Junior sister, let me help you! The green-clothed man saw this scene and roared angrily. He flipped his palm, and a turquoise long saber appeared in his hand. Boom! He slashed down with his saber, and a green saber light that was 100 feet long shone in the air. It even carried balls of turquoise flames. Lin Xian raised his other hand, and a huge light sword appeared in his hand. It was filled with murderous intent and emitted a terrifying whistling sound. The sword slashed down, and the turquoise saber light collided. A terrifying whistling sound was heard, and intense light burst forth in the air. Crack! The turquoise saber light that was 100 feet long was instantly shattered into pieces. Chapter 1945. A terrifying sound whistled through the air, and an intense radiance burst forth in the air. Crack! The 300-meter-long dark green saber light was instantly shattered into pieces. Pun! 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 The green-robed youth retreated continuously with a shocked expression. His opponent's strength was simply too great. A single sword strike had forced him back. Damn it! How can this brat be so strong? The green-robed youth's expression turned gloomy. But in the next moment, he arrived beside the pink-robed girl and quickly transmitted his voice to her. Junior sister, I have an idea. When the pink-robed girl heard this idea, her face turned red. But soon after, she clenched her teeth and agreed. After all, they had to eliminate the other party today. In the next instant, the pink-robed girl gnashed her teeth, and killing intent appeared in her eyes. Then, her lily-white hands began to tear apart her clothes. Chi! Chi! Soon, her pink dress was torn apart, revealing her snow-white skin. Under the illumination of the sun, her skin looked so delicate that it could be torn apart. This scene was extremely alluring. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Ah! Right at this moment, the pink-robed girl shrieked. Then, she hugged herself and retreated. Men! Save me! I'm being indecent! The pink-robed girl shrieked. As for the green-robed man, a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Soon, he started to play along. He crazily roared. Damned brat! You dare to be so rude to my junior sister? He was a 6-star king. At this moment, he circulated his spiritual energy and shouted. Terrifying sound waves spread out in all directions like waves. What's going on? His voice attracted the attention of many people. Countless rays of light flew over from the sky. These were the disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land. They had been attracted by that voice. Fellow brothers, you've come at the right time. This brat is too hateful. He actually wants to molest my junior sister. What? Hearing this, the disciples that had rushed over were all enraged. They all glared at Lin Xian with unkind expressions. It wasn't just the young disciples. Several aged figures also appeared in the sky. What's going on? A dignified voice sounded. It was a middle-aged man wearing a red robe. His aura was powerful. Reporting to Attendant Wang, my junior sister and I have received orders to invite that brat down there for a meal. I didn't expect that brat to have evil intentions after seeing my junior sister's beauty and want to molest her. We had good intentions, but we didn't expect him to be so vicious. That damned bastard! He's simply too arrogant. He actually dares to commit murder in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Take him down and avenge junior sister. F***ck, we must cripple his cultivation. Chop off his limbs and feed him to the dogs. Cold shouts could be heard from the crowd. Most of these people were disciples of the 5th bloodline, and were hiding in the crowd, shouting non-stop. Obviously, this was all premeditated. This matter caused an uproar, and more martial artists rushed over. Soon, the entire mountain range was completely surrounded. Brat, although you've done a meritorious deed by escorting Lu Minghua back, you're too arrogant. Therefore, you must be punished today. Kneel down obediently and accept your punishment. I will only cripple your cultivation and spare your life. The red-robed middle-aged man stood up, his voice cold. He was also from the 5th bloodline. Stop! At that moment, the people from the 7th branch arrived as well. They said, What are you doing? This young master is a guest of our 7th branch. Guests? What a joke! He's no longer a disciple of our 5th bloodline. Can I touch him? The red-robed middle-aged man sneered. What's going on? Seeing the woman in pink in front of them, the people from the 7th bloodline also frowned. Lin Xian said in a low voice, Obviously this is a show. Their goal is to capture me. That woman's clothes were torn by her own hands. What? Hearing this, the surrounding martial artists were shocked. The people from the 5th bloodline sneered. What kind of joke is this? You're obviously quibbling. Why would my junior sister frame you? You know, we've never known you before. This time, we're just here to invite you out of kindness. That's right, we have no reason to frame you. Brat, you're so young, but you're so vicious. If such a person continues to grow, it'll be a disaster. Why don't we just get rid of him today? Cold shouts came one after another. Immediately after, several huge figures stood out and locked onto Lin Xian. The middle-aged man said, Is the 7th bloodline going to interfere in this matter? What? The people from the 7th bloodline frowned and hesitated. Because they didn't know if Lin Xian had really done anything to her. The current situation was very unfavorable for them. Lin Xian didn't expect the people from the 7th bloodline to help him with all their might. He sneered, looked forward, and said loudly, Why did you frame me? It's very simple. Because I escorted Lu Mingwe back. You're dissatisfied and can't do anything to her, so you can only vent your anger on me. How dare you? The 5th bloodline is open and above board. Why would we attack a stranger? You're obviously quibbling. Men, take him down. The middle-aged man roared. Immediately, 2 figures in front of him rushed out and quickly attacked Lin Xian. The 2 people's bodies flickered with light. They were very powerful. Every step they took cracked the void. In an instant, they arrived beside Lin Xian. 2 large hands stretched out, and huge palms of light appeared. Killing intent surged like 2 huge demonic beasts that enveloped Lin Xian. For a moment, the entire sky shone with light. A terrifying aura surged and completely sealed Lin Xian. The surrounding warriors also cried out in surprise. Among them, the people from the 5th bloodline cheered with all their might. In their opinion, the other party was definitely going to die. Bang bang! However, Lin Xian sneered twice. He used the great dragon sword soul. The terrifying aura surged and condensed into a huge golden lightning hammer in his hand. Golden light shone, and a huge lightning bolt surged with terrifying power and rushed out of the void. Lin Xian waved the golden lightning hammer in his hand and smashed it forward. Soon, an intense collision sounded in the sky. The 2 powerhouses from the 5th bloodline were directly sent flying and vomited blood. So powerful! The surrounding crowd exclaimed, while the people from the 5th bloodline gritted their teeth in a daze. They didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. How dare you! The middle-aged man was also angry. He shouted coldly, How dare you hit the martial artists of our sacred land in broad daylight? This is unforgivable! Men, kill him on the spot! The cold voice carried a biting cold killing intent and reverberated in all directions. Oh no! The people from the 7th bloodline also had ugly expressions, their brows tightly knitted. No one saw what happened before. Perhaps there was still room for negotiation. But now, Lin Xian had injured 2 Holy Land martial artists in front of everyone, and everyone had seen it. There was no way to quibble. Their 7th bloodline couldn't make a move now. Lin Xian sneered. He had long known the 5th bloodline's thoughts, but it wasn't that easy to kill him. Chapter 1946. Looking at the 4 figures, Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palms and a boundless chill spread out from his body. Crack! 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 Wherever the chill passed, the void froze. The 4th lineage elites turned pale and tried to escape. But in an instant, they were frozen into ice cubes. What a terrifying chill aura! It's so cold! When the surrounding sacred land martial artists saw this, their scalps went numb, and they retreated. This move was too terrifying. It froze 4 elites in an instant. Humph! The middle-aged man snorted. He could tell that Lin Xian was powerful. Now, it seemed that he had to do it himself. Kid, you're too arrogant. Today, I'll kill you personally. As he spoke, the chaotic chi emerged from his body and formed the chaotic sun behind him. It bloomed with thousands of rays of light. A terrifying aura filled the air and endless chaotic light shone, illuminating the entire sky. Kill! With a roar, 5 giant golden crows appeared from the chaotic sun behind him. Each of them was 100 feet long and looked as though they were made of gold. They were lifelike. They spread their wings and flew toward Lin Xian, bringing with them a sky full of flowing light. In the distance, the sacred land martial artists were suppressed by this boundless aura. Their bodies trembled and they almost lost their balance. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 5 golden crows quickly approached Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and raised his hand. Endless chill aura gathered in his left hand and formed a large blue bow. On his right hand, black flames danced and formed a black arrow. Draw the bow and shoot the golden crows. Boom! 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 He drew the bow 5 times in a row. 5 pitch-black arrows burned with boundless heat and pierced through the golden crows, blowing them up. In the sky, violent energy explosions swept out in all directions. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. The middle-aged man's pupils shrank. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that he could even contend with him. In the next moment, he stomped his feet and turned into a ray of flowing light, rushing over quickly. In the palm of his hand, the chaotic chi swirled and formed a huge chaotic vortex. Accompanied by the power of the chaotic sun, it shot out quickly. Pun! The void was like a mirror, shattering right away. Furthermore, the cracks were spreading rapidly, trying to swallow Lin Xian whole. Whoosh! Lin Xian's figure flickered, instantly leaving his original spot and appearing in another direction. He drew the bow in his hand again. 1! A black arrow shot out, causing the void to tremble as it flew towards the middle-aged man. Ka ka ka! The void was directly pierced through, creating a pitch-black ravine. The middle-aged man was shocked. He waved his hands, and the light of chaos formed 7 shields in front of him. At the same time, a green armor appeared on his body, shining brightly. Boom! However, the arrow in the sky contained the power of the great dragon sword soul. Like a hot knife through butter, it easily pierced through the 7 chaos shields. Then, it pierced through the middle-aged man. Ah! The middle-aged man let out a blood-curdling scream as his shoulder was pierced through, and he flew backward. In the end, he was nailed to a mountain peak. Blood dripped from the sky, and screams reverberated in the surroundings, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. The people of the 5th bloodline gasped, and their eyes were filled with fear. This middle-aged man was extremely powerful. He could be said to be at the peak of 6-star kings, but he was easily injured. He could not fight back at all. What was the background of that young man in front of them? Why was his combat strength so terrifying? For a moment, they were terrified and did not dare to look at him again. Humph! How dare you make a move in the sacred land? You're courting death! At this moment, the void fluctuated, and a large number of figures appeared. There were young prodigies, middle-aged men, and even pale old men. Without exception, they were all powerhouses of the 5th bloodline. As soon as these people appeared, they sealed off the surroundings and directly trapped Lin Xian. This time, they would definitely not let him escape. It's over. This kid is definitely dead. That's right. The young prodigies and the elders of the 5th bloodline have all appeared. I'm afraid this kid won't be able to escape no matter how heaven-defying he is. There's nothing they can do. This kid sent Lu Mingwei back. It can be said that he has completely angered the fifth bloodline. It's normal for the people of the fifth bloodline to want to kill him now. Discussions broke out one after another. This time, not only the people of the fifth bloodline, but also the powerhouses of the 5 sacred lands and the 3 seeker families in the distance. Because the commotion here was too big, it directly alarmed them. When they learned that it was the people of the fifth bloodline who attacked Lin Xian, many of them immediately sneered. Among them, especially Tuoba Tianzi and the Thousand Thunder Saint. They all looked down with a sneer on their faces. I told you, this kid is not a good person at all. Look, he actually wants to rape the female disciple of the sacred land of rites. Such a person can't be left in this world. I think it's better to kill him directly, the Thousand Thunder Saint said coldly. On the other side, Tuoba Tianzi also sneered. Murong Qingqing, on the other hand, looked solemn. She did not believe that Lin Xian would do such a thing. He must have been framed. Therefore, she stepped forward and said in a deep voice, Stop, there must be a misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The female disciple who was bullied is right below. The evidence is conclusive. Moreover, this kid injured the cultivators of our sacred land in front of everyone. Everyone saw it. There is no misunderstanding at all. At this moment, an elder of the fifth bloodline stepped forward and said coldly, Jade Lake Saintess, although you are an honored guest, this matter is the business of the all-beginning sacred land. I hope you won't interfere. Saintess. The people of the Jade Lake sacred land also stepped forward to dissuade her. Indeed, with their current status, it was not convenient for them to interfere. Murong Qingqing also snorted coldly. However, she decided that she would not let these people hurt Lin Xian in the slightest. Fairy Murong is the Jade Lake Saintess. It is not convenient for her to interfere. What about me? At this time, another ice-cold voice sounded. Lu Mingwei. Everyone turned around and saw a fairy-like figure appear. That's right, it was Lu Mingwei. At this moment, she had already recovered her status as a saintess candidate. Moreover, it would not be long before she became a true saintess. Therefore, her appearance naturally caused a commotion among the crowd. Lu Mingwei said indifferently, I understand him. He would not do such a thing. I think there must be some misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The evidence is conclusive. The elder of the fifth bloodline sneered. That's right. How dare he bully the people of our fifth bloodline? We must kill this kid! The people of the fifth bloodline all shouted in anger. Conclusive? Lin Xian smiled. Are you sure the evidence is conclusive? Of course. The person is already here. How could it be false? That elder snorted coldly. Very well. Since you want evidence, I will show you the evidence. Soon after, Lin Xian said, Brusilong, take that thing out. Chapter 1947. Sure. Since you want evidence, I'll show you. Then, Lin Xian said, Brusilong, take that thing out. I've already prepared it. The Crimson Dragon sneered. When the scene happened, they felt that something was wrong. Thus, they directly used memory crystals to record the scene from before. In the next moment, the Crimson Divine Dragon tossed its claw, and a blue crystal floated in the void. It shone brightly and was projected into the void. That's a memory crystal! Huangfu Qian exclaimed. It seems that the truth is about to be revealed, Yangming said in a deep voice. Sure enough, the projection of the memory crystal replayed the scene of the pink lady tearing her clothes in front of everyone. On the other hand, the faces of the people from the fifth branch darkened. They did not expect the other party to have a memory crystal. I've already given you the evidence you wanted. Now, are you still going to say that I'm the one who molested her? Lin Xian said lightly. The elder was so angry that his body trembled. That was a slap in the face. Humph! What's going on? Murong Qingqing also shouted coldly. Lu Mingyue's face darkened. Is this what you mean by molesting her? Humph, it seems that you really don't know the rules. Is the law enforcement hall here? Lu Mingwei shouted loudly. Here! In the sky, 3 martial artists in black armor appeared. Their auras were as cold as ice. These 2 disciples framed a distinguished guest and brought shame to the sacred land. Take them away and discipline them. Yes. The 3 martial artists from the law enforcement hall descended and took the pink lady and the green-robed youth away. Elder, save me! The 2 of them screamed, their faces pale. They did not expect this to happen. How dare you! The elder from the 5th branch also shouted angrily. What? You want to violate the sacred land's rules? Lu Mingwei said coldly. Damn it! The elder from the 5th branch gritted his teeth and could only watch as the law enforcement hall took them away. He had no choice. Although he was an elder, he did not dare to openly defy the rules of the Holy Land. The other members of the 5th bloodline were trembling with anger. However, they had no intention of letting Lin Xian off the hook. In the next moment, those people all stared at Lin Xian. The elder from the 5th faction gritted his teeth and said, Those 2 disciples lied about this matter. But what about the matter of this brat injuring my disciple? He openly committed murder in the Holy Land. Such a person must not be allowed to live. However, Lin Xian sneered and said, It's just a spar. Moreover, it was you guys who made the first move. Hearing this, the 5th bloodline was so angry that he coughed up blood. They glared fiercely at Lin Xian, wishing they could beat him up. Really? Spar? All right, I'll spar with you. If I injure you badly, I don't think anyone will blame me, right? At this moment, a young man walked out from the crowd of the 5th bloodline. His black hair reached his shoulders, and his face looked as if it had been carved by a knife. He gave off an unusually sharp feeling. Shao Qinshan, he's actually going to attack. He's one of the candidate saints. He's powerful and unfathomable. Legend has it that he's not weaker than a true candidate saint. As soon as the black-haired young man came out, the surrounding crowd began to discuss. Shao Qinshan stood in the void and looked down at Lin Xian. He put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, Let's do it. We're just sparring. Don't worry, I won't kill you. These words carried a trace of biting cold killing intent that shook the void. Haha, this brat is scared. I didn't expect my senior brother Shao Qinshan to attack. Senior brother Shao, go for it. Cripple him. The disciples of the 5th bloodline shouted crazily. The elders did not stop them. They also watched with cold smiles on their faces. What, you think a candidate saint can defeat me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Since you want to spar, I'll grant you your wish. With that, he took a step forward and his aura erupted. His long hair fluttered, and his eyes were like lightning. He was like a peerless divine sword unsheathed. You're indeed powerful. However, you're not my match, Shao Qinshan said coldly in the sky. His eyes contained a trace of disdain. He was one of the candidates of the All Beginnings Holy Ground. His strength was powerful and unfathomable. His opponent was only a nameless junior. Was he even qualified to fight with him? Whoosh! In the next instant, he stretched out his hand. A cyan flame danced in the center of his palm. The cyan flame was like a divine flame. It illuminated the void and emitted a terrifying aura. Whoosh! Then Shao Qinshan waved his hand. The cyan flame rushed out of his palm. A green light sprinkled down, and instantly the water in the huge lake below was completely evaporated. The terrifying heat was so intense that even the void couldn't withstand it. Cyan Lotus Flame. Shao Qinshan actually used Cyan Lotus Flame. It seems like he's determined to kill his opponent. What? That's a flame that only an almighty expert can possess. I didn't expect Shao Qinshan to possess such a flame. Could it be that he really has strength comparable to a candidate saint? Cries of surprise were heard one after another. Evidently, the cyan flames had caused the surrounding people to be extremely shocked. Boom! Lin Xian quickly counterattacked. He waved his hand. Blue cold air revolved around his palm. A cold palm of ice soared into the sky. Ka ka ka! The blue palm was like an ancient iceberg. It streaked across the sky, causing the void to tremble. The power of ice? But it's useless. My cyan lotus flame isn't something you can imagine. Xiao Qingshan had a calm expression. Ordinary ice wouldn't be able to block his cyan lotus flame. His opponent would definitely be burned to ashes by his flames. Boom! But in the next instant, he was stunned. The giant fireball he had shot out was frozen. It turned into a block of ice and fell from the sky. Not only that, but the blue cold ice divine palm's might didn't decrease. It rapidly grabbed at him. How could this be? Xiao Qingshan's expression changed for the first time. He was stunned. He didn't dare to believe his eyes. The surrounding crowd was also stunned. This was especially true for the disciples of the fifth bloodline. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. They hadn't expected Lin Xian to be able to break through the cyan lotus flame so easily. Whoosh! In the sky, Xiao Qingshan's body swayed. He turned into a cyan phantom and flashed rapidly in the void. However, the cold ice divine palm grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it completely enveloped the entire sky. Boom, boom, boom! In an instant, the sky above his head was completely frozen. Xiao Qingshan's body was also wrapped in countless cold air. Get lost! Xiao Qingshan roared. The flames in his body suddenly erupted like a sea of fire. He resisted the cold air around him and quickly broke out of the encirclement. His hair was covered in blue ice. His face was abnormally ferocious. He was furious. He was too furious. His opponent had put him in such a difficult position. This was unforgivable. Chapter 1948. The surrounding warriors were all astonished. Lin Xian's battle prowess was simply too frightening. Kid, you've completely angered me. Xiao Qingshan's voice was cold. I just wanted to play with you, but now I've changed my mind. In the next moment, he roared and formed a seal with both hands. Countless green flames gathered in front of him, forming 18 green lotus flowers. Each lotus flower seemed real and carried a terrifying heat. All of them flew toward Lin Xian. Clear lotus burning the sky! Kid, go to hell! Xiao Qingshan roared and waved his hand quickly. This was his strongest move. Once it was used, the entire sky would be burned clean. No matter how strong the opponent was, they would not be able to resist it. As expected, as soon as the 18 green lotus flowers appeared, the ice in the sky melted instantly. Not only that, the 18 lotus flowers formed a formation and enveloped Lin Xian, trying to refine him. Clear lotus burning the sky? Lin Xian sneered. It's just the light of a firefly. I'll break you now. In the next moment, his eyes turned sharp. The great dragon sword soul was activated quickly, and a long ice sword appeared in front of him. As he swung the sword, a terrifying ice aura filled the air. The sharp sword light cut through the void. Boom, boom, boom! The sword she slashed down, and the 18 lotus flowers in the sky were all shattered. The terrifying sword light flashed in the sky and slashed toward Xiao Qingshan. What? They're all shattered! How is this possible? When the people of the fifth lineage saw this, they went crazy. Those were 18 lotus flowers, a terrifying technique that could burn the heavens. But now, it was broken by a sword. This shocked them and they could not believe it. Xiao Qingshan's expression changed drastically. He did not expect his secret technique to be broken in an instant. Moreover, what frightened him even more was that the sword light was too sharp. It was as if it could cut him in half. Damn it! He roared angrily and turned into a bolt of green lightning. He dashed to the left in an instant, trying to dodge the sword. However, just as Xiao Qingshan moved, mysterious runes appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Then, a cold smile appeared on his face. The ice sword in his hand slashed out once more. This sword directly sealed off Xiao Qingshan's path of retreat, and quickly arrived at his side. Xiao Qingshan's face turned green because he couldn't block this sword at all. The terrifying murderous aura caused his entire body to turn cold. He could imagine that the next sword strike would pierce through him. "Elder, save me!" At this moment of crisis, Shao Qi-shan could no longer care about his face. He shouted loudly, abnormally frightened. "Humph!" The elder of the fifth branch's face darkened when he saw this. With a wave of her embroidered robe, a red light suddenly turned into a huge mountain, blocking Shao Qi-shan and the terrifying sword Qi. Clang! In the next moment, the black demonic sword collided with the red sleeve, producing an earth-shaking sound. Boom! Boom! In the void, countless cracks appeared, and an energy shockwave blasted Shao Qi-shan away. Puff! Shao Qi-shan's hair was disheveled, and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Fortunately, an elder stepped in and saved his life. The surrounding martial artists were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that the extremely powerful Shao Qi-shan, one of the candidates of the chosen saint, couldn't even block one sword strike from the other party. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. Could it be that he has the strength of a chosen saint? No wonder he could escort Lu Mingwe back to the sacred land. Discussions broke out, but the faces of the people of the fifth branch were terrifyingly dark. This is the genius of your fifth branch? He's so weak that he can't even withstand a single blow. At this moment, Lin Xian said calmly. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking very calm, as if the attack just now was just a casual move to him. Even so, the commotion caused by this was still unbelievable. Kid, you're too arrogant. At this moment, an elder of the fifth branch stood out. His entire body was surging with murderous aura, as if he was the god of death. That's enough. Stop pretending. Aren't you looking for so many reasons just to kill me? Come on, just do it! Lin Xian shouted coldly, completely disregarding the people of the fifth branch. That was because he had absolute confidence in himself and had a strong ability to protect himself. Today, he's going to turn the world upside down. Humph! Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. An elder sneered. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed at Lin Xian like a monstrous demonic claw. Buzz! Old thing, you alone are not enough! Lin Xian laughed and pulled out the 9 Serenity's demonic sword. The aura of his entire body suddenly erupted. The terrifying sword Qi was like a divine sword that cut the sky open. Then, the monstrous demonic claw was also split open, revealing deep white bones. Ah! The elder of the fifth branch screamed and retreated while holding his palm. His face was unusually ferocious. It was too fierce. He could not withstand this sword technique at all. However, in the next moment, he roared crazily. Everyone, go and kill him! The surrounding crowd was stunned. They did not expect that even the elder was no match for him. When the people of the fifth branch heard this, they roared and rushed over. In an instant, more than a dozen figures appeared beside Lin Xian. Damn it, how dare you! Seeing this, Lu Mingwe and Murong Qingqing also shouted. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes were filled with anger, and she was about to attack. However, Lin Xian transmitted his voice and told her not to attack. He also asked Lu Mingwe to step aside and watch. There was no need for them to participate in today's battle. Facing the dozen people who rushed over, Lin Xian swung his demonic sword. The half-moon demonic sword's aura drew a black moonlight and instantly sent the dozen people flying. Go! However, more people were unable to do so. The battle broke out. In an instant, the mountain peak under their feet was split in half and shattered into countless pieces of gravel. However, in just a moment, the young disciples all vomited blood and were sent flying. None of them could resist. Damn it, he's too strong! Many people screamed and their eyes were filled with fear. This was because they had never seen such a powerful young man other than the saints. However, the people of the fifth branch were not willing to give up. At this time, 3 elders appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. This scene was simply too shocking. The existence of 3 elders was extremely powerful. Although they were not almighty, they were still the top existences among the 6-star kings. Their combat strength was terrifying. Perhaps only a true saint could resist them. However, with three elders attacking together, even an ordinary saint would not be able to resist. Now, such a lineup was actually dealing with a young man. When the other martial artists saw this scene, they started discussing. As for the people from the 5 great holy lands, their brows were tightly furrowed. This scene was truly beyond their expectations. Tuobutiansi, the Thousand Thunder Saint, and the other saints and saintesses' eyes were shining. They stared fixedly at Lin Xian because the latter's strength was too frightening. He had definitely reached their level. But how was this possible? Who was he? Why had they never heard of him before? Chapter 1949. Murong Qingqing was extremely worried. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry. However, Lin Xian had sent her a voice transmission earlier. Thus, she couldn't make a move right now. Moreover, the people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground were also holding her back. After all, this matter was related to the All Beginnings Holy Land. If the people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground rashly got involved, the impact would be huge. As for Lin Xian, his gaze was like lightning. He looked at the 3 elders and sneered. Is there no one else in your All Beginnings Holy Land? You actually sent 3 elders to kill a youngster like me? How laughable! How lamentable! Fine. Since no one in the younger generation is my match, I will play with you 3 old fellows. I'd like to see if the 3 of you old fellows are trash as well. After saying that, Lin Xian pointed the demonic sword in his hand at the sky. Suddenly, countless black lightning bolts descended from the sky. It was like a lightning tribulation. Brat, you are courting death. The 3 elders from the 5th bloodline had gloomy expressions. Indeed, with their status, joining hands to deal with a youngster was truly shameful. Moreover, it was in front of so many people. However, there was nothing they could do. Their 5th bloodline's genius, their holy son candidate, had been sent flying by a single sword strike. Apart from him, they couldn't find another youngster who could contend against him. The All Beginnings Holy Son could definitely contend against him. However, the All Beginnings Holy Son wasn't someone from their 5th bloodline. Moreover, he wasn't in the All Beginnings Holy Land right now. Thus, they could only make a move themselves. Even if they were looked down upon, they still had to make a move. After all, Lin Xian's strength and talent were too terrifying. He had reached the Holy Sun level at such a young age. If they didn't eliminate such a person, he would become a disaster for their 5th bloodline in the future. Brat, you are too arrogant. You have injured so many experts of our sacred ground. No matter what, we will not let you leave today. Kneel down and accept your death. 3 furious roars sounded. Then, the 3 elders' eyes blossomed with cold light. Their auras suddenly erupted. They formed 3 king domains and completely sealed off Lin Xian. Lin Xian madly laughed in disdain. 3 shameless old fellows. Isn't it because you are afraid of me? Since you want to fight, bring it on. Kill! Lin Xian roared and took the initiative to attack. Countless rays of sword light appeared in the sky. They were like stars cutting through the void. A bright light shone, illuminating the entire sky. The terrifying sword light instantly enveloped the 3 elders of the 5th branch. You're courting death. The 3 elders of the 5th branch were completely enraged. Their opponent was too arrogant. He wanted to challenge the 3 of them by himself? You really don't know what death is. The surrounding Chosens and Skyprides were also extremely shocked. The reason for that was because they discovered that Lin Xian was simply too arrogant. This brat is too arrogant. He definitely won't win. Tuoba Tianxi gritted his teeth and snorted. Of course not. Each of the 3 elders is comparable to a holy sun. When the 3 of them join forces, their strength is extremely powerful. Even a real holy sun may not be able to contend against them. That brat definitely won't be able to stop it. The myriad Thunder Saint Sun also sneered. Up in the sky, the 3 elders roared furiously. Then, one of them counterattacked. He opened his mouth and spat out a blue river. The waves were hundreds of feet high and collided with the sword light in the sky. Boom! 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 Countless shocked voices sounded in the sky. This superpower was too terrifying. However, before they could finish their exclamations, there was a shocking change in the void. The hundreds of feet high wave was split open by the sword, creating a vacuum area. Then, thousands of sword rays swept across and completely shattered it. The terrifying demonic sword whistled, and the shocking rainbow continued to move toward the three elders. Humph! The elder who attacked was shocked, while the other two elders snorted coldly. Their faces were extremely gloomy. The next moment, their bodies exuded a powerful chaotic chi that collapsed the void like countless mountains. Buzz! In the sky, a ghostly claw appeared out of thin air like a mountain and clawed downward. The void was instantly torn apart, and a terrifying aura locked onto Lin Xian. On the other side, another elder made his move. A sharp saber light shone like a shocking divine rainbow and quickly slashed down. The two elders attacked together and charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian raised his sword to block. The demonic sword flickered and directly shattered the saber light. At the same time, he threw out a punch. The Armageddon black dragon fist turned into a black dragon and blasted toward the terrifying ghostly claw. Boom! A destructive and violent aura shrouded the sky, causing heaven and earth to shake. The terrifying ghostly claw was instantly pierced through. In this exchange, both sides were evenly matched. However, this made everyone even more shocked. The previous attack had been launched by two elders together, but Lin Xian had blocked it all by himself. This was too heaven-defying. Damn it! This kid is too evil. Let's attack together and kill him! The three elders looked at each other, and finally decided to be shameless and attack together. Whoosh! Whoosh! Elder number 1 moved his hands, and suddenly, a terrifying chaotic light shone, forming a huge palm of light that tore through the void. In an instant, the terrifying palm of light charged toward Lin Xian. It was like the palm of a demon king, abnormally terrifying. Not only that, but the entire space was also completely sealed. Elder number 2 roared angrily, and the red light on his body surged into the sky like a volcano erupting. The dazzling light illuminated the entire sky. He struck out a sea of fire. The blazing flames pierced through the void and quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Elder number 3 moved his hands and formed a huge green bell. It kept expanding like a huge mountain, dazzling and eye-catching. On the bell, runes shone. The bell shook gently, and the runes that filled the sky rippled like stars. Boom! The terrifying green bell directly enveloped Lin Xian. The terrifying power blasted black holes in the void. The three elders attacked together, and the momentum was too shocking. Even the saints and saintesses who were watching the battle from afar changed their expressions. Brother Xian! Murong Qingqing was even more nervous because even a saint would have a hard time facing such a terrifying attack. She did not know if Lin Xian could block it. In front, endless light shone, and a terrifying aura shot into the sky. The sky was filled with a sea of fire, and the light of spiritual power burst out together, causing the entire sky to tremble. The countless mountains below were also filled with boulders, as if they would collapse at any time. Kill! Lin Xian also roared angrily. He felt a great threat. One had to know that each of the three elders was comparable to a saint. At this moment, the three of them were indeed very powerful when they joined forces. Therefore, for a moment, a shocking light burst out from his eyes. The great dragon sword soul in his body kept surging, and it let out a dragon's roar. Boom! Countless spiritual energy condensed, and then he raised his hand and struck out a huge furnace. Chapter 1950. That divine furnace was 1,000 feet tall and resembled a blazing divine mountain. There was a vivid and lifelike phoenix carved on it. Heatwaves filled the sky, causing large black cracks to appear in the void. In the end, the blazing divine furnace collided with the large green bell. A world-shaking sound rang out, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Many cultivators fainted on the spot. As for the remaining cultivators, they bitterly persevered. Buzz! 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 More experts shot out rays of light that enveloped the surroundings, preventing them from being hit by the energy shockwaves. Resisting the large green bell in the sky, Lin Xian activated Sea God Ice once more. The terrifying power of ice transformed into an ice phoenix that rapidly rushed out of his body and collided with the sea of flames in the sky. As ice and fire collided, a terrifying power filled the entire sky. Lin Xian's fighting spirit soared. Terrifying sword energy soared into the sky. The 9 nether devil sword in his hand slashed out. Sharp sword lights collided with the large palm of light, each strike capable of devouring the heavens and splitting the earth. The four people's battle shook the heavens and the earth, causing the entire world to explode. Not only that, but the terrifying energy also activated the All Beginnings Holy Lands Array Formation. A terrifying array formation emerged, protecting the surrounding mountains and rivers. Who is this brat? He's too terrifying. He can actually contend against the 3 elders for such a long time. Heavens, could it be that his strength has already surpassed that of a saint? Impossible! What kind of people are saint? They are all world-shaking and peerless geniuses. However, there are also differences in strength between saint. This kid's strength is one of the stronger ones among the chosens. Sounds of discussion could be heard. It was clear that this scene had left everyone dumbfounded. The 3 elders were also extremely shocked. They couldn't take down the other party in a short period of time. This caused them to lose face. One had to know that the 3 of them had shamelessly joined hands. They originally thought that they could easily kill the other party if they joined hands. But they didn't expect that the other party would be too strong. They could only fight to a draw. Buzz! At this time, a black light suddenly appeared. Like a ghost, it arrived behind Lin Xian. Then, the terrifying gray palm slapped out towards Lin Xian's back. The silhouette appeared. It was also an old man. His hands were covered in gray mist, and he ruthlessly slapped at Lin Xian. Boom! A low voice sounded out, and then countless clouds of fog erupted, covering the area in front of them. It hit! The disciples of the 5th bloodline cheered, while the others cried out in surprise. The myriad Thunder Saint Sun, Tuoba Tianxi, and the others sneered. After being hit by such a violent palm of light, even a saint would be severely injured, if not killed. This kid is dead for sure! Murong Qingqing cried out in alarm. His figure flashed, and he was about to make a move, but he was stopped by the people beside him. At this moment, an elder of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground quickly said, "Don't get too excited, his aura is still there." Upon hearing this, Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he quickly sensed his surroundings. Indeed, she could still sense Lin Xian's aura. This put her at ease. The others also looked over. Naturally, they could also sense Lin Xian's aura. However, in their opinion, even if he did not die, he would be severely injured. Being besieged by 4 elders, even if the saint was severely injured, he would definitely die. The gray mist that filled the sky dissipated, and then the situation inside emerged. But very soon, everyone was stunned. Even their eyeballs were about to fall out. That was because Lin Xian was covered in a layer of cold metal armor. He looked like a god of war, unstoppable. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but his aura did not weaken much. How is this possible? He's not seriously injured? Just a minor injury? Damn it, how could this be? How did he block that palm strike? Exclamations were heard. Everyone could not believe it. The gray-robed elder who attacked also narrowed his eyes. His palm was absolutely terrifying. Even the saint could not block it. How did Lin Xian block it? Damn it, there's something wrong with his armor. The 4 elders' faces were unusually gloomy. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a powerful armor. Humph! Lin Xian also snorted coldly and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Fortunately, the black armor blocked most of the attack. Otherwise, that palm would definitely have severely injured him. A bunch of shameless old men. How dare you be so shameless? Lin Xian gritted his teeth. 4 elders had attacked him. This was too much pressure for him. Therefore, he summoned the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon was already furious. As soon as it appeared, it pointed to the front and roared. "Damn you 4 old rookies, do you have any shame? How old are you? You're at least 5 or 6,000 years old, right? You actually joined forces to attack a young man in his 20s. If I were you, I would have killed myself long ago." The Crimson Dragon howled crazily, and its voice traveled thousands of miles. The 4 elders' faces darkened, and they were so angry that they vomited blood. Where did this beast come from? How dare he spout such nonsense here? F***ck. You're the beast. The Crimson Dragon was furious. It slapped out with its claw. Suddenly, a dark red beast's claw appeared in the void and slapped the elder away. Boom! Boom! The elder who spoke arrogantly fell to the ground like a meteor. He smashed the ground into pieces, and a terrifying deep pit appeared. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. His strength was too terrifying. He was not inferior to the saint at all. They did not expect a demonic beast to be so powerful. Kill! The 2 sides fought again. So far, there was nothing to talk about. The only thing they could do was to defeat each other. Previously, Lin Xian fought 1 against 3, and both sides were tied. Now, it was 2 against 4, and the 4 elders were directly suppressed. Regardless of whether it was Lin Xian or the Crimson Dragon, they were not existences that they could imagine. Lin Xian had the Crimson Sword soul, and his combat strength was abnormally strong. The 4 elders' arms were numb, and their blood was turbulent. The Crimson Dragon was also extremely terrifying. Firstly, he was a divine dragon with a strong physique and many secret techniques. Secondly, he used to be a supreme being. Although his cultivation level had fallen, he had recovered to the level of a 6-star king. He was extremely terrifying. Therefore, he had completely suppressed the 2 elders. Everyone was shocked, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Was he still human? Even the 4 elders working together could not suppress him. Boom! 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 After dozens of moves, the 4 elders were directly blasted away. All of them were seriously injured, and one of the elders was even more miserable. There was a terrifying crack on his shoulder. His bones were exposed, and his body was almost split in half. Boom! 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 At this moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. These auras were like gods and demons, and they could only make people tremble. Chapter 1951. At that moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. The aura was like that of a god-fiend, making people tremble. At that moment, even the saints, saintesses, and sky brides frowned. Almighty! Murong Qingqing clenched her fists. She did not expect that even the Almighty would appear. Qingqing, don't do anything. I might have to leave this place early. Don't worry, I can protect myself. Lin Xian quickly sent a voice transmission to Murong Qingqing when he sensed the aura of the Almighty. Murong Qingqing nodded. She trusted Lin Xian. Lin Xian then sent a voice transmission to Lu Mingwei. When you become the saintess, remember our agreement. I hope you won't go back on your word. Don't worry, when I become the saintess, I'll definitely thank you. Lu Mingwei also responded. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the sky, a powerful aura descended as if night had fallen. The terrifying aura made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Finally, 3 figures appeared. They were like demon kings floating in the void. Each of them was unreachable. People could only look up to them. Almighty! That's great, the Almighty is here! The people of the 5th lineage were extremely excited and cheered. This is the Almighty of the 5th lineage. He's their elite! Now that their Almighty was here, they could definitely crush the other party. Young man, you've gone too far. One of the Almighty in purple spoke. His voice was like heavenly thunder, rolling over. Capture him now and come back with me. His voice was low and there was an unquestionable tone to it. What a joke! Who are you? Why should I go back with you? Even in the face of an almighty, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. The surrounding martial artists were stunned. They could not believe what they had just heard. Is this kid crazy? How dare he defy an almighty? The people of the fifth lineage sneered. Haha, this kid is dead for sure. How dare he provoke an almighty? He's definitely going to die. Indeed, in the sky, the almighty in purple frowned when he heard Lin Xian's words. He coldly snorted. Reckless fool! In the next moment, he stretched out a finger and pressed it downward. From the looks of it, it was as if an adult was going to crush an ant to death. A finger fell and then became bigger. In the end, it was like a divine pillar that reached the heavens, descending from the sky. Mysterious runes appeared on his finger, emitting a terrifying aura. The sea of clouds in the sky was pierced through, and countless cracks appeared. The entire void shattered like a mirror. In an instant, the terrifying heaven-piercing finger arrived above Lin Xian and was about to mercilessly descend. Ah! Lin Xian roared. The nine-held devil sword in his hand quickly grew bigger, turning into a huge pitch-black devil sword. Boom! Then, he waved the huge demonic sword. The demonic sword in his hand seemed to have turned into a black dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, roaring ferociously. The sword light soared into the sky and collided with the Tongtian palm. Boom! Boom! There was a huge explosion in the sky, and the sky was filled with dazzling lights. Endless clouds surged like waves. Everyone kept retreating because they could not withstand the aftermath at all. Arrays appeared in the surrounding mountains and rivers. They kept flickering and resisting the terrifying energy storm. A pitch-black hole appeared in the sky at the center. It gradually expanded as if it was going to devour the entire space. Crack! Crack! Following that, under everyone's shocked gazes, cracks began to appear on the finger that connected the heavens and the earth, and they quickly spread all over it. Crack! Finally, it exploded into pieces with a crisp sound. What? The attack of the Almighty was blocked? How is that possible? Everyone was stunned. They could not believe it at all. The Thousand Thunder Saint Sun and Tuoba Tianzi even widened their eyes. Especially the Thousand Thunder Saint Sun. He was a saint, but even he could not compete with a true Almighty. But now, a nameless kid in front of him had blocked the attack of an Almighty. That was an Almighty with extraordinary means. His strength was at least at the level of a 7-star king. He was definitely above everyone else. Even so, he was still blocked. In the air, the purple-clothed Almighty's face was gloomy. This scene was also beyond his expectations. Bang! 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 Lin Xian kept retreating. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was injured by this attack. However, he had also blocked that terrifying finger. However, he still looked up to the sky and laughed. What Almighty! You're just SOSO. If you dare to stop me today, I'll kill you all the same! Lin Xian's cold voice resounded in all directions. It was as if he was the god of death. Humph! You're courting death! The purple-clothed Almighty was furious. He did not use his full strength in the previous attack at all. In his opinion, the other party was just an ant that was not worthy of his full strength. But now, the other party was so arrogant. He even provoked him. He could not stand it, so he decided to kill the other party again. Boom! He flicked 2 fingers, which turned into a huge flood dragon that hovered in the air. It formed a terrifying energy storm that charged toward Lin Xian. This attack was too terrifying. It was so powerful that it could kill any expert below the Almighty. Boom! Lin Xian roared as the great dragon sword soul in his body circulated to the extreme. He waved the demonic sword to resist. There was another earth-shattering explosion. Then, the 2 flood dragons were shattered. However, Lin Xian's body was also sent flying thousands of miles away. What? It shattered again! Everyone was stunned. If the previous time was a coincidence, and the Almighty did not use his full strength. How could they explain this time? Although Lin Xian was sent flying and injured, he did not die. This meant that he could fight against the Almighty. Thinking of this, they did not dare to believe it. Ha ha ha, you want to kill me? Impossible! Lin Xian sneered. His black hair fluttered in the wind. The black armor on his body emitted a cold light. It was this armor that blocked most of the Almighty's attack. Almighty? You're very arrogant. Then you can try to take my sword. Lin Xian blocked 2 consecutive attacks from the Almighty and finally decided to take the initiative to attack. What? He's going to attack the Almighty? Heavens, is he crazy? What a reckless guy! Does he really think that he can fight against the Almighty just because he blocked 2 attacks from the Almighty? Humph, just wait and see. He will definitely be killed. The people of the 5th lineage snorted. In the crowd, Tuoba and the Thousand Thunder Saint gritted their teeth because they could not accept the fact that the Almighty was stronger than them. Buzz! On Lin Xian's side, the dragon sword realm was displayed. Tens of thousands of sword lights quickly gathered. Then, they merged with the demonic sword. Then, he slashed out with his sword. The shocking sword light flashed in the air and turned into a light wave that quickly rushed toward the Almighty. Humph! You're overestimating yourself! The Almighty in purple sneered disdainfully with a trace of contempt in his eyes. He did not think that the Almighty could really fight against him. Therefore, he stretched out his palm and grabbed forward. His expression was as if he was pinching an ant. Chapter 1952. However, when he felt the sharp sword light, his expression finally changed. Because this sword light was too sharp, it made him feel a sense of pain. Poof! The sword light flashed, and then blood spurted out and dripped into the void. The palm of the mighty figure in purple was cut open, revealing deep white bones. Ah! Damn it! The mighty figure in purple was furious. He clenched his fist and crushed the shocking sword light. However, he was still injured. The wound on his palm could not be healed at all. There was still the remnant aura of the great dragon sword soul on it. He really injured the mighty figure! Seeing the bloody scene, the surrounding people were all stunned. What kind of person was this? He was too fierce. The people of the 5th lineage could not believe it. As for the myriad Thunder Sage and Tuoba, they trembled and almost fell from the sky. This kind of strength had definitely surpassed them. Kid, you have completely angered me! The mighty figure in purple looked ferocious. Being injured by an ant made him lose face. Therefore, in the next moment, he roared and his aura suddenly erupted. A terrifying light flashed around him, and then flames gushed out from the sky, forming an extremely terrifying scene. Boom! 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 Golden light flashed, and then golden lotuses quickly appeared in the void with monstrous flames. They were like divine spears, shining brightly. The sky was full of golden lotuses, like golden flames floating in the air, covering the entire sky. Domain! This is the mighty figure's domain! He actually used his own domain! It seemed that the mighty figure in purple wanted to kill Lin Xian. He wanted to kill him in one move. Kid, go to hell! The mighty figure in purple sneered and waved his hand. Suddenly, countless golden lotuses in the sky turned into golden sword rainbows and rushed toward Lin Xian. Looking at the golden lotuses in the sky, Lin Xian's expression was grave. This attack made him feel that his life was in danger. He did not dare to be careless, and raised his combat strength to the extreme. The great dragon sword soul rotated quickly in his body, emitting a cold light. Not only that, sword chi quickly appeared on the surface of the black armor, forming a sword chi battle armor. The double layer of defense greatly increased Lin Xian's defensive capabilities. This time, Lin Xian gripped the 9-held devil sword with both hands. The pitch-black demonic sword shone with an icy cold radiance. Soon after, it expanded rapidly and eventually turned into a demonic sword that was 1,000 feet long. Chop! The giant sword, which was hundreds of meters long, slashed down. The terrifying power and the attack intertwined in the air. The entire sky was completely blown apart. The dazzling golden lotuses were also impacted. The two collided and destroyed each other. However, there were simply too many golden lotuses. Many of them still managed to get close to Lin Xian. Boom! Boom! The golden lotus and Lin Xian's sword chi collided with each other, creating a dazzling light. Then, the golden lotus tore apart the sword chi and smashed onto the black battle armor. Immediately, Lin Xian spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His body flew out. Seeing this, Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Her eyes were filled with concern. On the other hand, the myriad Thunder Saint, Tuoba Tianxi, and the people of the fifth bloodline were laughing maniacally. They knew that Lin Xian was doomed this time. However, Lin Xian roared. Golden runes shone in his eyes, making him look extremely mysterious. Suddenly, a dragon-shaped sword shadow burst out from his body, protecting his body. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura increased again. Damn it! Impossible! This kid is still severely injured. How can his strength increase? The people of the fifth bloodline looked as if they had seen a ghost. They could not believe it. The others were also stunned. This scene was completely beyond their understanding. Only the Crimson Dragon laughed wildly. Ha ha ha, the dragon's soul has been activated. What a blessing in disguise! Kid, let's fight. Let them know the power of the great dragon sword soul. Sure enough, the great dragon sword soul appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. It kept extending. In the end, it even covered the demonic sword and Lin Xian's arm completely. At this moment, Lin Xian looked extraordinary. A true dragon coiled around his body, and his powerful aura tore the sky and the earth. The golden lotuses around him were also blasted away in an instant. Many of them were directly split by the sword chi. This kind of majestic scene shocked everyone. In the air, a large area of golden lotuses were destroyed. The terrifying sword chi rushed through the entire sky and quickly attacked the mighty figure in purple. Humph! The mighty figure in purple snorted. He did not expect that not only was his opponent not dead, but his combat strength had also increased. Even he was shocked by this combat strength. In the next moment, he clapped his palms. The purple palm shadows were like two purple mountains, swaying rapidly in the air. They blasted onto the sword chi. Boom! 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 Many sword chi were slapped away. However, the mighty figure in purple was also shocked. Because his arm was already numb from the shock, the power of this sword chi was much stronger than before. Even he had to deal with it carefully. Kill! Lin Xian roared. The nine-nether demonic sword in his hand expanded once more, becoming a giant sword that was thousands of feet long. Then, it mercilessly slashed down. In the sky, the phantom of a true dragon formed and quickly swept out. Pun! This time, the mighty figure in purple was finally sent flying. The void shattered. The mighty figure in purple was sent flying, leaving behind a pool of blood in the sky. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. Heavens, what did they just see? A puny little king sent a mighty figure flying. This is really too shocking. Ah! Damn it, I'm going to kill you! The mighty figure in purple flew over from afar and instantly arrived in front of Su Xiaoshu. The baleful aura on his body soared to the sky. He was like a killing god. But at the same time, the other two mighty figures could no longer watch. They took a step forward and formed a triangle, firmly surrounding Lin Xian. Brat, it's over. Although you're very strong and have heaven-defying talent, you're too stupid. The All-Beginnings Holy Land is not something you can provoke. So what if you're strong? Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of geniuses. It's just that there are very few geniuses that can survive. You're also nothing. The three mighty figures' voices were ice cold. The killing intent on their bodies formed a cage that enveloped Lin Xian. In the next instant, the three of them attacked together. Their powerful strength instantly caused the sky to explode. No! Murong Qingqing cried out in alarm. She wanted to rush forward and save Lin Xian. However, she was stopped by the Elder of the Jade Lake Holy Land. There were 3 mighty figures in front of her. With their berserk auras, even Murong Qingqing wouldn't be able to do anything if she went forward. Instead, she might be killed. Damn it! Lu Mingyue's expression turned gloomy as she watched this scene. After all, Lin Xian had helped her a lot. She didn't expect that he would be killed now. Ha ha ha, who asked this brat to be so arrogant? He's finally dead. He dares to oppose my 5th bloodline? He's truly reckless. The martial artists of the 5th bloodline sneered. Chapter 1953. How dare you go against the 5th branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the 5th branch sneered. Ha ha ha, this brat was so arrogant. Now he's finally dead. How dare you go against the 5th branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the 5th branch sneered. Humph! In the distance, Toba Tianzi and the Thousand Thunder Sage also revealed a ferocious look. Great, this brat is finally dead. Otherwise, it would be a huge pressure for them if the other party was still alive. Boom! However, at this time, a low voice suddenly came from the huge energy storm and black hole in front of them. Then, more and more cracks appeared in the space, like a spider web crawling into the distance. Accompanying it was an aura that made people's hearts palpitate, as if a peerless divine beast had crawled out of the black hole. What's going on? Why do I feel so uneasy? The elders from the 5th branch looked extremely solemn. Their hearts were thumping as if the thing in front of them was a huge threat to them. Not to mention these people, even the 3 Almighties frowned. They also felt a chill down their spines. Boom! In the next moment, a huge burst of energy erupted and a powerful storm swept in all directions. Then, the black hole, terrifying cracks, and bright light in the sky were all blasted away. A pitch-black, quaint spaceship was suspended in the sky. It was covered with sword marks and saber scars, emitting a strong, desolate aura. What's that? Everyone looked at the pitch-black spaceship in shock. It's a spirit boat. Yes, it's a spirit boat, but it doesn't look like an ordinary one. The aura on it is too strange. Why does it seem like an ancient object? At this moment, everyone stared in front of them, bewildered. The 3 Almighties frowned even more. As Almighties, their perception was more certain. That hair-raising and heart-pounding feeling from before had come from this black spirit boat. Humph! The attack of 3 Almighties is nothing more than this. At this moment, a cold voice came from the black spirit boat. Hearing this voice, many people were stunned because they were very familiar with this voice. It belonged to Lin Xian. What? How is it possible? That brat is not dead. Damn it, I don't believe it. That's the attack of 3 Almighties. Even a top saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. How could he possibly withstand it? Not to mention a saint, even an Almighty would not be able to withstand the combined attack of 3 Almighties. The people of the 5th branch were going crazy. The surrounding people were also discussing animatedly, their faces full of shock. Damn it, could it be that there's something wrong with that spirit boat? In the next moment, everyone stared at the black spirit boat in front of them. Tuoba Tianzi and the 10,000 lightning holy sons' faces twisted. Ouyang Mingfei, Huang Fuqian, and even Lu Mingyue were shocked. As for Murong Qingqin, she let out a sigh of relief as a smile appeared on her face. He recognized that black spaceship. It was the Black Earth. Previously, she had taken the Black Earth ship with Lin Xian from the Sky Martial Continent to the True Spirit Continent. Murong Qingqin knew a little about the terror of the Black Earth. However, it required too much energy to activate the Black Earth ship. He did not expect that Lin Xian would be able to activate it now. Inside the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian was wearing battle armor, and his face was somewhat pale. In front of him stood the Crimson Dragon, and beside him was a floating Black Earth. There was a small formation in front of him. Inside were 2 divine crystals that flickered with light and were embedded in grooves. Even if Lin Xian was strong, he would not be able to withstand the combined attack of 3 Almighties. Unless he became a true Almighty. But now, he was only a 5-star king. Therefore, at the critical moment, Lin Xian activated the Black Earth ship. With the powerful defense of the Black Earth ship, the attacks of the three Almighties naturally could not cause any harm to it. Outside, the three Almighties' expressions were incomparably cold. Their gazes were like sharp blades as they stared at the Black Earth ship in front of them. The three of them looked at each other and attacked again in the next moment. They could not tolerate an ant daring to be so arrogant in front of them. Ice River Roar! The purple-robed Almighty roared towards the sky. Boundless icy aura burst forth from his body, forming a storm that filled the sky, as if it was going to freeze the entire world. The terrifying ice storm quickly rushed towards the Black Earth ship. Doomsday Banishment! The other Almighty waved his hands, creating a mysterious trajectory. Suddenly, the void was torn apart as countless huge lightning bolts descended, drowning the Black Earth ship. The lightning bolts were powerful as they continuously attacked the Black Earth ship. The terrifying energy directly drowned the front. Sword of the Wind God! The third Almighty roared as a gust of wind gathered in his hand, forming a gust of wind sword. It was 100 feet long and slashed down fiercely on the Black Earth ship. Clang! 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 An earth-shattering sound rang out as the void in front of them split open again. A huge crack appeared, as if it was a sky-devouring beast, completely swallowing the Black Earth ship. Humph! The three Almighties snorted as their eyes flickered as they looked forward. Behind them, the people from the fifth lineage sneered. Humph! It's time for him to die. I don't believe that he can resist. There's no way he can resist. No one can resist the full strength of three Almighties. Many people revealed ferocious expressions, but in the next moment, they were all stunned. Even the three Almighties were dumbfounded as if they couldn't believe it. The huge black hole in front of them quickly disappeared, and the terrifying crack gradually healed. All the energy storm dissipated, and there, the black ship floated in the void, exactly the same as before. There wasn't even a trace of a scar on it. How is this possible? Everyone subconsciously shook their heads, thinking that their eyes were playing tricks on them. They rubbed their eyes hard and found that it was really the case. The three terrifying attacks didn't even leave a trace of a scar on the spirit ship. Damn it, how is this possible? That was the full-strength attack of three Almighties. Impossible, what grade is this spirit ship? How can it be so strong? Even a top-grade Earth-grade spirit ship doesn't have such a defense, right? For a moment, everyone was dumbfounded. In the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Hey two, can we attack? These three old fools were too despicable. With the current number of divine crystals, we can attack, but it's only one attack. After one attack, the energy will be extinguished. I'm afraid we won't be able to leave even if we want to. Isn't there a formation? Open the formation and absorb the energy from the outside world. We can absorb the energy from the outside world, but it can only maintain the balance. Hei-Tu shook his head, but then said, although the Black Earth ship can't be used as a mechanic, it's not impossible to kill Almighties. You have other methods? Lin Xian was surprised. Chapter 1954. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Hei-Tu shook his head. But then he said, although the Black Earth can't attack, it's not impossible to kill a supreme being. Oh, you have another method? Lin Xian was surprised. What method? He asked. If he could kill a supreme being, that would be great. He could kill the other party's arrogance. Of course. Don't forget, there are still many powerful corpses in the Black Earth. Those were the corpses of invincible kings. They were incomparably terrifying. If he could stimulate their killing intent, even a supreme being wouldn't be able to withstand it. Is it easy to operate? Lin Xian asked. No problem, but he would need to waste some divine crystals. Hei-Tu said. You just need to set up a formation and guide it. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. He still had a lot of divine crystals in his hands, so he could kill one or two supreme beings. He was furious. These three supreme beings were taking advantage of their seniority to attack him with all their strength. Fortunately, he had the black earth. Otherwise, he would be in danger today. Now that he had a chance to take revenge, he had to take it. In the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded again, echoing in the entire space. All beginnings, Holy Land? What a big deal! 3 mighty figures are chasing after a mere king. You guys are really shameless. You guys are shameless to the extreme. However, do you really think that I'm easy to bully? Today, I'll go against the heavens and kill a supreme being. Humph! The 3 supreme beings snorted coldly. When they heard the last part, disdain appeared in their eyes. The cultivators of the 5th bloodline behind them discussed animatedly, their faces full of mockery. What did he say? He actually wants to kill a supreme being? What a joke! Who does he think he is? He's just relying on a spirit boat to temporarily save his life. What's there to be arrogant about? What was there to be arrogant about? Murong Qingqing couldn't bear to listen anymore. She said coldly, As far as I know, that young master is only in his 20s, and his cultivation is only a 5-star king. However, his combat strength has reached the level of a holy sun, and he's a peak existence among the holy suns. Not only that, but he can even fight against powerful beings. Can you do that? Shut up if you can't do it. Hearing this, the people of the 5th bloodline lost their temper. Indeed, they were just talking. The other party's strength was stronger than their saint of all beginnings. Even in the eastern wilderness, there weren't many people of the same generation as him. Moreover, it was Murong Qingqing who said it, so they could not refute him. After all, Murong Qingqing was also a holy maiden. Her status was absolutely transcendent, and it was not something they could resist. Therefore, the people from the 5th bloodline could only shut their mouths, their faces dark with anger. There were even a few elders who were so angry that they vomited blood. Damn it, I'm so angry! Several elders roared towards the sky. However, at this moment, another change occurred in front of him. Up ahead, the black earth suddenly emitted a jet-black light that enveloped the purple-robed mighty figure. Whoosh! Then, the purple-robed almighty figure disappeared into the void. Damn it! What happened? The other 2 mighty figures were also stunned. They had no idea what had happened. The surrounding people were in an uproar because it happened too quickly. The purple-robed lord had disappeared in an instant. They did not react at all. By the time they reacted, he was already gone. Buzz! Inside the black earth, a light flashed, and the purple-robed mighty figure appeared. Boom! The purple-robed mighty figure was also very surprised. He felt that he was enveloped by a terrifying spatial power, and then his entire body disappeared. When he reappeared, he instantly activated the battle armor in his body. A set of purple armor appeared and enveloped his entire body. The next moment, he looked around cautiously. When he found that he was inside the spirit ship and saw Lin Xian and the others in front of him, he immediately laughed proudly. Ha ha ha, kid, you really don't know what's good for you. How dare you bring me here? I was thinking that I couldn't break the spirit ship's defense, so how could I deal with you? I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to me. He was simply too happy because the black spirit boat was too strange. The 3 of them couldn't even break it with their hands. He originally thought that he could not kill the other party today, but he did not expect the other party to drag him into the spirit ship. This way, he had absolute confidence that he could kill the other party. Humph! You still want to kill me? I'll kill you first today. Lin Xian snorted coldly, then said, Black Earth, do it. You still want to fight me? You don't know what's good for you. The purple-robed mighty figure laughed wildly. He lowered his palm and was about to charge over. However, He too quickly set up a formation. Suddenly, countless mysterious runes lit up on the ground in front of him and enveloped the purple-robed mighty figure. Not only that, a huge figure appeared in front of him. Retreat! At the same time, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon quickly retreated. They came to a secret room inside the Black Earth and watched quietly. Insignificant skill. You want to stop me with a formation? The purple-robed mighty figure looked at the runes around him and sneered disdainfully. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. His body even began to tremble. That was because a figure appeared in front of him. A 2-meter-tall figure stood there, cold as ice, like a statue. He exuded a frosty aura like a god looking down on all living beings. Damn it! Who is this? There was someone else in the spirit ship? The purple-robed mighty figure was terrified because the aura emitted by the other party made him feel a trace of fear. He had never experienced such fear before. I don't care who you are, you'll die! The purple-robed mighty figure roared and struck out with both palms. His terrifying palms carried a shocking force as they blasted toward the statue-like figure in front of him. What an idiot! In the secret room, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon sneered when they saw this scene. That statue-like figure was none other than the corpse of an invincible king. Such an invincible king was extremely terrifying. Even though he was dead, his aura was still terrifying. It was definitely not something an ordinary mighty figure could withstand. Boom! Sure enough, in the next moment, the purple-robed mighty figure's palm struck the invincible king's corpse, producing a sonorous sound. His palm did not cause any damage at all, but it stimulated the murderous aura in the invincible king's body. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Countless murderous auras surged out like a flood, turning into divine rainbows that pierced in all directions. Poof! The purple-robed mighty figure was the first to bear the brunt. He felt the rainbow-like light and was terrified. He wanted to block it. Chapter 1955. Immediately, the armor on the purple-clothed mighty figure shone with a dazzling light. However, it was useless. Those divine rainbows instantly pierced through the purple-clothed mighty figure's body like cutting beans. Damn it, how is this possible? The purple-clothed mighty figure's eyes widened. He looked at the dozen or so wounds on his body in shock. What kind of attack could kill him in an instant? Who was that figure in front of him? Why was he even more terrifying than a peerless mighty figure? Plop! The purple-clothed mighty figure fell to the ground before he could figure it out. In front of this murderous aura, the purple-clothed mighty figure was killed without any ability to resist. Inside the secret chamber, Lin Xian also gasped. These invincible kings were too terrifying. They had been dead for so long, but the murderous aura in their bodies was still so terrifying. He really wondered how powerful they were when they were alive. Moreover, this was only a king. It was said that there were saints above kings, and above saints were unparalleled emperors. How terrifying was the combat strength of a great emperor! It was simply unimaginable. It wasn't until a long time later that the murderous aura in the hall disappeared. He too activated the array formation and moved the corpse of the invincible king away. In the next moment, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon walked out. They looked at the purple-clothed mighty figure's corpse and sneered. Then, Lin Xian took off the purple-clothed mighty figure's storage ring. Outside, everyone was panicking because some time had passed. The purple-clothed mighty figure still hadn't appeared, which made them a little worried. However, one of the mighty figures spoke. Don't worry, no matter how strong that kid is, it's impossible for him to kill a mighty figure. He doesn't have that strength at all. That's right, the strength of a mighty figure is extremely terrifying. Furthermore, the purple-clothed mighty figure has a powerful armor and many secret techniques and treasures in his hands. He can definitely protect himself. He might even succeed in killing the other party. Hearing these words, the people of the fifth lineage heaved a sigh of relief. Then, they all sneered. That's right, who does that kid think he is? How dare he fight against a mighty figure? Just wait, he'll be killed soon. Discussions broke out one after another. However, at this moment, the void fluctuated and a figure appeared. He appeared! Everyone was extremely excited as they looked over. Then, the void split open and a purple figure appeared. It was the purple-robed mighty figure from before. However, the mighty figure in purple no longer had any vitality. There were more than a dozen bull-sized wounds on his body. Terrifying blood dripped down from the void. What? How is this possible? When everyone saw this scene, their scalps went numb. They couldn't believe it. As for the two Almighties, they cried out in alarm. Like lightning, they arrived in front of the purple-robed mighty figure. In the next moment, he extended his soul spirit and carefully inspected it. Soon they screamed, "Killed! This is impossible! What? He was killed!" The people of the fifth bloodline went crazy, and the surrounding people were even more terrified. A mighty figure was killed? This was truly a shocking matter. Moreover, he had been killed by a 5-star king. No matter how he listened to it, it sounded like a fantasy story, an impossible thing. But now, it had truly appeared before them. Impossible! This is absolutely impossible! I must be dreaming! The fifth bloodline's elder went mad, unable to accept this. Damn it, how is this possible? That's a mighty figure. How could that kid kill him? The other disciples of the fifth bloodline also shouted crazily as if they had gone mad. This can't be true! The Thousand Thunder Saint and Tuobatiansi also kept shaking their heads with a hint of fear in their eyes. Even Lu Mingwe was shocked, let alone them. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes widened. Even the elders of the 5 sacred lands next to her were stunned. That was because this scene was too shocking. A mighty figure was beyond ordinary kings and was abnormally powerful. Below the mighty figure level, very few people could kill a mighty figure. But now, the young man in front of them had done it. Moreover, the other party was only a 5-star king. That was too shocking. Ah! Damn it, kid, I'm going to kill you! Among them, a green-robed mighty figure roared crazily. His gaze was as sharp as a blade as he slashed forward. He stared at the black spirit boat. Kill me? Fine, I'll give you a chance. Lin Xian's cold voice came from the spirit boat. In the next moment, a black light turned into a shocking lightning bolt and instantly enveloped the green-robed mighty figure. Buzz! In an instant, the green-robed mighty figure's body also disappeared into the void. Seeing that, the people of the fifth bloodline were extremely nervous. That was because when the purple-robed mighty figure was killed earlier, he had disappeared into thin air. When he came out, he had already become a corpse. Now that the green-robed mighty figure was also enveloped, who knew what the consequences would be? They did not dare to imagine. The surrounding martial artists and the people of the 5 sacred lands also held their breaths. Because if the green-robed mighty figure was killed, it would be a huge blow to the sky. A 5-star king killing 2 mighty figures in a row would definitely shock the entire eastern wilderness. Everyone waited nervously. Not long after, a green figure appeared in the void. It was the green-robed mighty figure from before. What? He's killed again! When everyone saw this scene, they were all stunned. The people of the fifth bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Their faces darkened as they roared crazily. That was because the green-robed mighty figure was also killed. No! Who can tell me what's going on? The people of the fifth bloodline roared crazily. The others were also dumbfounded. To be able to kill 2 almighties in a row, what kind of technique was that? Unless it was a peerless mighty figure. Could it be that there was a peerless mighty figure in this spirit boat? Thinking of that, they were extremely terrified. Whoosh! The last surviving mighty figure turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. That was because he did not dare to stay here any longer. If he was hit by a black light, he would also disappear. Once he entered the spirit boat, one could imagine his fate. It would definitely be very miserable. Therefore, he still fled in advance. Haha, what mighty figure! What a piece of trash! Seeing that the other party had fled, Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. The scalps of the surrounding people went numb, and the people of the fifth bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Shameful, this was too shameful. In their sacred land, their main battlefield, and they had sent out 3 mighty figures, but they could not do anything to the other party. Even the 2 mighty figures on their side were killed by the other party. That was definitely a shocking slap in the face, and they were speechless. Damn that kid, he's too strange! There must be something incredible in this spirit boat. Hurry up and invite the peerless mighty figure of the fifth bloodline! Many people exclaimed. Especially the people of the fifth bloodline. They were really crazy. Because now, ordinary mighty figures could not suppress the situation at all. They had to invite a peerless mighty figure to kill the other party. They had to seize the black spirit boat. Chapter 1956. Boom! 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 In the distance, a thunderous sound suddenly erupted from the fifth bloodline's mountain peak. Then, multicolored light surged into the sky. The entire sky was dyed red. A figure appeared in the sky. The aura on his body was like a wave, rapidly beating in all directions. Ancestor! Seeing that figure, the people of the fifth bloodline became excited again. They all knelt in the sky. Because the person who had appeared was none other than their fifth bloodline's peerless almighty. The other cultivators were also shocked. Murong Qingqing also became nervous. Although she knew that the Black Earth was powerful, she didn't know if it could contend against the peerless almighty. However, she guessed that Lin Xian should be preparing to leave. Indeed, Lin Xian was preparing to leave. Although the Black Earth was powerful, it could only protect itself. His current divine crystals couldn't contend against the peerless almighty unless he had more energy. Only then could he contend against the peerless almighty. All beginnings holy land? The fifth bloodline is only SOSO. Not only are the younger ones useless, but the older ones are also trash. Since there are no challenges, this young master will be leaving. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Then, the Black Earth shone brightly and prepared to take off. However, at this moment, the peerless almighty in the distance took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of them. His speed was too fast. It was no different from teleportation. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. As expected of a peerless almighty. His strength far surpassed ordinary almighties. Just this terrifying speed alone was something that the almighties present couldn't catch. You want to leave? How is that possible? You killed 2 of my fifth bloodline's almighties and you want to leave just like that? Don't you think you're too naive? What naive? Am I not naive when I was killed by you? Only you can kill others, but others can't kill you? What kind of logic is that? Lin Xian coldly snorted. Now that he was inside the Black Earth, he didn't fear a peerless almighty at all. Therefore, he coldly said, Old man, I advise you to get lost quickly. Otherwise, if you anger me, I can't guarantee that I won't kill you. Hearing this, many people almost fell from the sky. Insolent, this was too insolent. A puny 5-star king actually dared to threaten to kill a peerless almighty? After hearing this, the peerless almighty sneered in disdain. Little doll, do you know what a peerless expert is? Do you know what realm an almighty's strength has reached? Don't think that you can strut around just because you have a powerful spirit boat. If I want to crush you to death, all I need is one look. Just a look. Do you think you're very powerful? How old are you? What's your strength? What age am I? What's my strength? If we fight at the same level, I can guarantee that I'll kill you like a dog. Lin Xian's voice resounded in the air. You're courting death. Brat, you're too arrogant. You actually dare to speak to a peerless almighty like that? Hurry up and slap him. The members of the fifth bloodline roared in anger. They would not allow anyone to insult the peerless almighty of their fifth bloodline. However, Lin Xian sneered. I'm arrogant? You guys are too ignorant. Do you really think that you can do whatever you want just because you're a peerless almighty? Alright, let me ask you, how old is your peerless almighty this year? I'm 3,200 years old. The peerless almighty snorted coldly. Lin Xian sneered. 3,200 years old, and you're only a peerless almighty? Then let me ask you, I'm 24 years old this year. I want to know, how strong were you when you were 24 years old? Were you able to fight against the mighty and stand at the top of the saints? Humph! Hearing this, the peerless almighty snorted coldly, and his expression darkened. Meanwhile, the others were silent. From the looks of it, the peerless Almighty probably couldn't reach Lin Xian's level when he was 24 years old. At this moment, an elder of the fifth bloodline sneered, "You're powerful now, but so what? A genius who hasn't grown up is nothing in the end. Who knows if you can live to 3,000 years old? What's the point of saying so much? Let me ask you, can you reach my combat power when you're 24 years old?" Seeing that the elder was silent, Lin Xian sneered, "If you can't, then I don't know what you have to be so arrogant about. I started practicing martial arts when I was 15 years old, and I'm 24 years old now. It's been less than 10 years. I started from the very beginning, and now I can fight against the mighty, but it's only been less than 10 years. I'm confident that I won't need 3,000 years. Give me another 10 years, and I'll become a peerless Almighty. By then, I'll kill you like a dog." What? Started at 15 years old, and now it's been less than 10 years. Heavens, how is that possible? Bullsh*T, he must be Bullsh*Ting. Even the saints and saintesses of the sacred grounds and the peerless elites of the clan of the ancients couldn't have started practicing martial arts when they were 15 years old. Furious roars sounded from the surroundings. They simply did not believe Lin Xian's words. Even the top elites of the eastern wilderness started practicing martial arts when they were 5 or 6 years old. Even the peerless elites of the clan of the ancients were soaked in all sorts of heavenly treasures and peerless elixirs when they were born. They built a solid foundation from a young age. There were even peerless almighties who helped them unblock their meridians. It could be said that they started practicing martial arts from the moment they were born. In addition, those people had incredible talents and top-notch resources. That was why these elites were able to show their talents when they were 20 or 30 years old. They had great power that surpassed the older generation. Even so, they had cultivated for 20 to 30 years, or even 40 to 50 years. However, the young man in front of them had started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, and now he was 24 years old. He had surpassed most of the elites. That was unbelievable, because they had never heard of such a thing before. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the young man had said that he would become a peerless almighty within 10 years. How was that possible? Compared to the young man who started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, his combat power was even more incredible. A peerless almighty was an extremely terrifying existence. Didn't they see that the peerless almighty in front of them was already 3,200 years old? He had cultivated for more than 3,000 years to become a peerless almighty. But the young man wanted to become a peerless almighty within 10 years. That was definitely a joke. Moreover, it was an impossible joke. Kid, you're too ignorant. Do you really think that peerless almighties are cabbages? I bet that you'll never become a peerless almighty in your lifetime. That's right. Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you say such big words? Ha ha ha, this is hilarious. Disdainful voices rang out one after another. Even Tuo Batienzi and the Thousand Thunder Saint had mocking looks on their faces. The young man wanted to become a peerless almighty within 10 years? What an idiot! Chapter 1957. Disdainful voices rang out one after another. Even Tuo Batienzi and the 10,000 Thunder Saint revealed mocking looks. This person had actually cultivated to become a peerless almighty in 10 years? What an idiot! However, Lin Xian coldly said, "Do you dare to reveal your name? Within 10 years, I will personally visit the All-Beginnings Holy Land and kill you." As soon as those words were spoken, the world lost its color, and the winds changed. Endless gales swept up as sword she pierced through heaven and earth. This terrifying scene caused the surrounding people's expressions to change. In their opinion, this person was too arrogant. However, this person did have the qualifications to be arrogant. This aura was no weaker than a true almighty. It was definitely the battle prowess of a peak saint. Moreover, this person's origin was extremely mysterious. Even now, they didn't know what sect he was from. What kind of background did he have? However, The peerless Almighty sneered disdainfully. His eyes were filled with contempt. As a peerless Almighty, he knew how difficult and frightening it was to become a peerless Almighty. Although he wasn't a saint back then, he was still a peak genius. He had spent nearly 2,000 years to become a peerless Almighty. Moreover, he had been stuck in the realm of peerless Almighty for 1,000 years. He was still unable to break through. 3,000 years was an extremely long time. Moreover, according to what he knew, even saints and saintesses needed several hundred years to become peerless Almighty. Yet, this person wanted to use 10 years to become a peerless Almighty? This was simply a fantasy. Brat, you are too ignorant. Once you cultivate further, you will understand how difficult it is to become a peerless Almighty. As for this old man's name, I can tell you. I am called Daoist Qianji. I will accept this agreement. I will wait for you to kill me within 10 years. However, whether or not you can make it out alive is another matter. After saying that, the peerless Almighty sneered and stretched out his palm. Suddenly, a terrifying light soared into the sky, piercing through the sky. A huge palm of light instantly grabbed at the black earth. Damn it! Old man! Too shameless! In the distance, Murong Qingqing and Lu Mingyue's expressions changed when they saw this scene. This was because they did not expect this peerless Almighty to suddenly make a move. Moreover, there were no signs at all. It was too sudden. The others were also stunned. Then an uproar broke out. The Fifth Bloodline's people cried out in alarm, laughing loudly. It was because they knew that as long as an exceptional power took action, the other party would definitely die. Humph, daring to go against my Fifth Bloodline, this is your fate. Cold laughter could be heard. In front of them, a gigantic palm of light emitted a terrifying power, directly enveloping the black earth. Boom! Boom! At the next moment, a terrifying sound was heard as the void in front of him exploded. An incomparably dark black hole rapidly expanded. That place was filled with violent storms. It was exceptionally terrifying. Even an Almighty would not dare to touch it. Humph! You're just an ant. You want to become a mighty figure in 10 years? What a joke! The peerless Almighty snorted in disdain. Then, he turned around and was about to leave. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. A shocked expression even appeared on his face. The reason for that was because an ice-cold voice sounded from the black hole. Damned old man, I'll remember you. What? He's fine. Everyone was stunned. How could the other party not be dead? How was that possible? That was an attack from a peerless Almighty. That palm should have killed even an Almighty. However, the other party was not dead. It was too unbelievable. No, that's impossible. I don't believe it. Heavens, what's going on? The Fifth Bloodline's people shouted frantically. The result was too shocking. They could not accept it. Even the peerless Almighty's expression changed. That was because the result was also beyond his expectations. Impossible! That was his first reaction because he was very confident in his own strength. No matter how powerful the other party's spirit boat was, it could not withstand it. However, what was going on now? He could not understand. In the next moment, he turned his head, and his gaze pierced through the void and looked ahead. Buzz! He saw a black spirit boat quickly appear in the black hole. It still emitted an ancient aura. There were no changes. What? It's fine. Everyone's eyeballs were about to fall out. The peerless Almighty's body was also trembling slightly. That was because the spirit boat was completely fine. That was too unbelievable. Damn it, I don't believe it! The peerless Almighty was furious and prepared to attack again. However, at that moment, Lin Xian said coldly, Old man, just you wait. Within 10 years I will personally come and take your life. With that, the black earth shone brightly and then disappeared into the void. Boom! The moment the black earth disappeared, the huge palm of light struck again, shattering the void again. Immediately, the black hole became even larger and even spread in all directions. It completely engulfed some mountains and the sky. That palm was even more terrifying than before. However, it did not have any effect at all. That was because the black earth had already broken through the void and disappeared. Search for him. 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles, 1,000,000 miles. Search all of them. We can't let that kid leave. The peerless Almighty roared crazily. His expression was abnormally ferocious. Immediately, the warriors of the fifth bloodline behind him quickly rose into the air and searched in all directions. The peerless Almighty was simply too shocked. That spirit boat of his opponents was incomparably strange. It was actually able to withstand the attack of a peerless Almighty. Without a doubt, it was an incomparably heaven-defying treasure. Furthermore, what shocked him even more was the other party's talent. He had actually reached the peak of the Holy Suns after cultivating for less than 10 years. He was definitely a terrifying monster. If he was allowed to continue cultivating like this, he would definitely become a peerless Almighty one day. And that wouldn't take too long. He estimated that it would only take him 100 years or so. That was because such a monster's cultivation speed was extremely fast. Furthermore, the further he progressed, the faster his cultivation speed would surpass that of other kings. Therefore, he would most likely become a peerless Almighty in 100 years or so. At that time, the other party would definitely kill his way over. In a battle of the same level, the peerless Almighty did not have the confidence to defeat the other party. Therefore, he had to find the other party and eliminate him. Otherwise, if the other party matured in the future, not only would it be a disaster for him, but it would also be a disaster for the entire All Beginnings Holy Land. After all, it was impossible for such a person to only become a peerless Almighty. If the other party's cultivation base increased, it would definitely be an unimaginable disaster if he attacked the All Beginnings Holy Land. Therefore, the peerless Almighty could not allow such a disaster to happen. He had to go all out and kill the other party now. In the sky, numerous figures quickly set off. It was not only the fifth bloodline. In the end, the entire All Beginnings Holy Land was alarmed. Chapter 1958. In the sky, one figure after another quickly set off. It wasn't just the fifth bloodline. In the end, the entire All Beginnings Holy Land was alarmed. The other cultivators quickly received the order and prepared to search for Lin Xian. Lin Xian's talent was too terrifying. It was enough to threaten the entire Holy Land. This guy was actually terrifying to such an extent. In the crowd, Lu Mingyue's eyes flickered. She had never imagined that Lin Xian would be this terrifying. However, this wasn't necessarily a bad thing for her. With such a powerful ally, she would probably receive a lot of support in the Holy Land in the future. Thinking of this, the corners of her mouth curled up in a smile. She also secretly transmitted her voice to the people of the seventh bloodline, telling them not to search for Lin Xian. As for the people of the other 5 Holy Lands, they were completely stunned. That was because Lin Xian's performance had completely exceeded their expectations. This was especially true for Tobatiansi, the 10,000 Lightning Saint's son, and the others. Lin Xian's strength and talent had already far surpassed theirs. Although they were also geniuses at the level of heaven prides, compared to Lin Xian, they paled in comparison. The expressions of the other holy sons and holy daughters were also extremely grave. As for the elders, they were all frowning. Such a person could be said to be a peerless genius. If he were to mature, he would definitely become a powerful enemy on their path to becoming a great emperor. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief, and a smile appeared on her exquisite face. Now that Lin Xian was able to leave, she was also relieved. On the other side, Lin Xian controlled the black earth and directly jumped through the void, arriving several 100,000 miles away. Then, with a few more jumps, he arrived 1,000,000 miles away. After that, the black earth entered the vast mountains below and hid. Whoosh! It was only now that Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian didn't plan to leave immediately. After all, the impact of this matter was too great. It would definitely shake the entire southern region. It might even cause a storm in the entire eastern wasteland. Therefore, it was best for him to enter seclusion and cultivate here. He would come out after the storm passed. He had consumed 6 divine crystals. He only had 3 left. How to use these 3 pieces was a problem. At this moment, Hei-Tu floated over and said, "Kid, if you don't plan on directly absorbing the energy in these 3 divine crystals, I have another way. I'll give you a special benefit." "Special benefits? What benefits?" Lin Xian asked. "Not only is the Black Earth's defense powerful, there are also various training grounds. One of them is called the 0-degree space. It's incomparably mysterious. It can condense people who are exactly the same as you to fight." "Exactly the same?" Lin Xian was surprised. "Exactly the same?" "Yes, that's right. Combat awareness, your cultivation base, and experience in fighting above your level, everything is the same." Hei-Tu continued. "Fighting with an exact copy of yourself and feeling the limits of life and death will definitely bring you great benefits. However, opening that null space requires divine crystals." "No problem. Is 3 enough?" Lin Xian thought for a moment, and said without any hesitation. Fighting with an identical version of himself was definitely a very precious experience, because this way, he could make up for his shortcomings. Find out where he needed to improve. Hei-Tu took the 3 pieces of divine crystals and floated inside. Not long after, the entire Black Earth trembled slightly. Then, a black light enveloped Lin Xian. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt the world spinning. The surrounding scenery completely changed. It was as if he had jumped out of the Black Earth and arrived in a special space. His surroundings were gray, and he couldn't see the limits of this space. However, with Lin Xian's senses, it could support him to fight with all his strength. Buzz! At this moment, the space in front of him fluctuated, and a figure appeared. Seeing this person, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. This person looked exactly the same as him. His clothes, hair, eyes, and temperament were all the same. If one didn't know better, they would think that another him had appeared. Seeing an enemy who was exactly the same as him, Lin Xian felt a burst of excitement. The spiritual power in his body quickly circulated. Sword Qi rushed out of his body and turned into a shocking sword light that slashed forward. "See God Eyes? It's useless. I can do it too." In front of him, the enemy who looked exactly like Lin Xian said in a deep voice. As he spoke, endless cold air gushed out of his body and turned into a blue-ice sword that also slashed forward. "See God Ice versus See God Ice." The 2 huge ice swords collided. The air shook violently, and invisible cold air exploded. In this exchange, the 2 of them were evenly matched, sharing the limelight. "Yes. It's exactly the same." Lin Xian was astonished when he sensed the other party's strength, and the terrifying icy aura. See God Ice was an ice treasure that he had obtained with great difficulty. He didn't expect the opponent to be able to simulate it. And the power was exactly the same. This 0-degree space was really amazing. It could actually simulate such a realistic enemy. Lin Xian was extremely excited. Then, he clenched his left fist and punched out. Apocalyptic Black Dragon Fist. Boom! However, at the same time, the enemy's mouth curled into a sinister smile. At the same time, his fist turned into a black dragon and rushed out. Armageddon Black Dragon Fist. The terrifying fist turned into a ferocious black dragon and a destructive aura drifted between heaven and earth. Not only was the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist exactly the same, but the timing and angle of the attack were also exactly the same. In other words, not only could the opponent simulate Lin Xian's strength, but he could also simulate Lin Xian's combat experience. Boom! 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 Roar! In the sky, the 2 black dragons collided. Sparks flew and thunder fell. Loud dragon roars reverberated in all directions. It was as if 2 real dragons were fighting each other. Whoosh! What shocked Lin Xian even more was that after the figure used the Sea God's Ice and the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist, 6 illusory figures appeared in front of him again. Each of them was formed by sword chi. They were like 6 peerless divine swords that emitted a terrifying aura. 6 God's sword technique, Chaos Doppelganger. 2 unique skills were displayed at the same time. Then, the figure and the 6 sword shadows quickly charged towards Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian snorted and also displayed Chaos Doppelganger and 6 God's sword technique. At the same time, 6 sword shadows appeared beside him. Each of them was extremely sharp. It was as if a sword immortal had descended. Terrifying murderous intent spread in all directions. Kill! With a roar, the two collided. Countless sword chi streaked across the sky and the destructive aura pierced through the 9 heavens. Buzz! At this moment, among the sword shadows, a huge sword light quickly condensed and shone with a pitch-black light. Then, it quickly slashed towards Lin Xian. Chapter 1959. The sword soared into the sky and quickly slashed down. The sword chi was sharp and contained a murderous aura. However, there was no aura of the great dragon sword soul. Lin Xian executed Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and quickly dodged the attack, dodging the attack. However, he was getting more and more excited. That was because he discovered that although his opponent was as powerful and sharp as him, and even had the same battle experience and awareness as him, the great dragon sword soul was different. However, there was no aura of the great dragon sword soul in his opponent's sword techniques. In other words, although the 0-degree space could simulate everything, it couldn't simulate the great dragon sword soul. Perhaps this is a way to improve myself and the great dragon sword soul. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth rose up. Then, the great dragon sword soul in his body erupted, and a terrifying aura soared into the sky. A powerful sword ripple transformed into a huge wave that spread out in all directions. Next, Lin Xian fought with his opponent with all his strength. Every time he fought, he would use his full strength. The two of them fought until the sky collapsed and the earth split. However, this time, they were no longer evenly matched. Lin Xian's attacks were sharper, and he was able to deal with his opponent's attacks. If his opponent didn't also use Heavenly Dragon 8 steps, he would have killed his opponent long ago. However, Lin Xian didn't lower his guard. He was observing how his opponent would deal with the danger. How his opponent would react. Because his opponent was exactly the same as him, his opponent's reaction would definitely become his experience. Boom! 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 Half a day later, Lin Xian transformed into a sword chi dragon and pierced through his opponent. Then, he floated in the sky and closed his eyes, recalling the previous battle to improve himself. Buzz! 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 Not long after, another fluctuation appeared in front of him, and 2 people that looked exactly like Lin Xian appeared. Each of them was as powerful as him. Boom! 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 The battle was exceptionally intense. One day later, Lin Xian killed 2 enemies that looked exactly like him. However, his body was also injured. This time, he gained even more benefits and experience. Soon, 3 enemies that looked exactly like him appeared. Just like this, Lin Xian entered an endless battle. As for the outside world, a huge commotion was set off. The matter of the All Beginnings Holy Land quickly spread, causing an uproar in the southern region. Soon, the entire eastern wilderness was shocked. Someone actually dared to cause trouble in the All Beginnings Holy Land and even killed 2 supreme elders. This was simply too shocking. For a time, all kinds of news spread everywhere. Everyone was guessing Lin Xian's identity. Although Lin Xian had previously concealed his identity, after careful analysis by many experts, they discovered that the mysterious youth they spoke of was most likely Lin Xian. In an instant, the world was in an uproar. The All Beginnings Holy Land was even more furious. They issued a kill order and chased after Lin Xian with all their strength. As for Lin Xian, he was engaged in an intense battle in the Black Earth. Half a month had already passed, and Lin Xian's body was riddled with scars. There wasn't a single part of his body that wasn't injured. His entire body was covered in blood, but his eyes were shining brightly. In front of him, there were 7 people who looked exactly like him, and each of them was extremely terrifying. To be honest, if not for the great dragon sword spirit, Lin Xian would not have been able to deal with the 7 people who were as strong as him. But now, even with the great dragon sword spirit, it would be very difficult for him to deal with them. The 7 people who looked exactly like him were simply heaven-defying existences. They could even easily kill Supreme Elders. However, he would not give up. In the next instant, a golden vortex appeared in his eyes. Mysterious runes appeared one after another. He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes. Buzz! After activating his heavenly secret divine eyes, Lin Xian turned into a shocking sword light and charged forward. At the front, the 7 figures snorted coldly. Every single one of them unleashed their most powerful ultimate skills to kill the other party. Sea God's Ice, 6 God Sword Techniques, Demonic Hell Flame, and a terrifying Azure Dragon True Phoenix. All kinds of illusory attacks rained down on Lin Xian without any regard for their lives. As for Lin Xian, he used Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps to dodge the attacks. With his heavenly secret divine eyes, he was able to capture the trajectory of these attacks even more sharply. He could even predict them in advance. Thus, after 3 days and 3 nights of intense battle, Lin Xian killed all 7 people who looked exactly like him. Whoosh! The injuries on his body were extremely terrifying. There were even some places where white bones could be seen. Lin Xian even felt that the power in his body was disappearing. In front of him, the void rippled and 8 figures appeared. They looked exactly like Lin Xian. Fight! Other than that, there was no need to say anything else. However, it had already been half a month since Lin Xian had started fighting. He had not rested in the middle, so he was already exhausted. At this moment, facing 8 people who looked exactly like him, he was in a very difficult battle. In the end, he killed 6 of them. However, his heart was pierced by the other party. Buzz! He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and controlled the 2 illusory figures of the other party. Then, he smashed the heads of the 2 figures with a single punch. However, his body was also out of the blank space. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed and appeared in the Hall of the Black Earth once again. On the other hand, He Tu floated up with a surprised face. Kid, you're out? Which level did you reach? If each figure is counted as a level, I should have reached the 8th level. The 8th level? Heavens! You're too heaven-defying! He Tu was also extremely shocked. He knew how terrifying the blank space was. Those were 8 enemies who were the same as him. How could they survive? One had to know that some people could not even defeat one of them. At most, it would be a draw. But now, Lin Xian had passed 7 levels in a row and even tied the 8th level. It was indeed a heaven-defying feat. All right, hurry up and rest. This time, you'll definitely benefit greatly. He Tu did not disturb Lin Xian anymore. Instead, he let him go into seclusion. Lin Xian nodded and went into seclusion to comprehend the various intense battles before. 3 days later, a surge of energy erupted. Lin Xian successfully broke through to become a 6-star king. The great dragon sword soul in his body had also become abnormally powerful. Not only that, Lin Xian's combat experience had definitely surpassed before. Now, he could completely kill an almighty by himself. One had to know that half a month ago, Lin Xian could only contend against an almighty. He could not kill one at all. Now, only half a month had passed, and he had the strength to kill an almighty by himself. If this kind of heaven-defying growth were to spread, it would definitely make all the warriors in the eastern wilderness go crazy. In the next half a month, Lin Xian continued to consolidate his cultivation. After a month, he came out of seclusion and decided to go out and take a look. Now that he had understood the situation in the southern region, Lin Xian did not plan to stay in the southern region any longer. He wanted to leave the southern region and go to other places in the eastern wilderness. However, he did not want to fly there because it would take more than 10 years. Therefore, he decided to find a place to use the super teleportation formation. Chapter 1960. Lin Xian wanted to use the super teleportation array. He had gradually gained a better understanding of the eastern wilderness. He knew that only the remote antiquity aristocratic families and great sages had super teleportation arrays. In other continents of the eastern wilderness, there were also some hidden super teleportation arrays for experts to use. Lin Xian's destination this time was a hidden super teleportation array. After going out, Lin Xian asked around and found out that there was a super teleportation array in the depths of the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. Therefore, he decided to go to the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. However, the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range was not simple. It was a very famous mountain range with a radius of 1,000,000 miles. It was continuous and terrifying. There were all kinds of demon kings running amok inside. Ordinary kings did not dare to enter. Even almighties sometimes did not dare to enter the depths of the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. One could imagine how terrifying the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range was. Lin Xian's destination was the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. He turned into a sword light and disappeared from the city, flying towards the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range. In the vast barren mountains, a figure was shuttling through like a ghost. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. He was flying in the Thousand Spirit Mountain Range, heading towards the super teleportation array. Demon Slaying Sword Array. Lin Xian analyzed the array in his mind as he flew at high speed. The Annihilation Sword Array was a top-notch martial technique. He had found it in the storage rings of the two almighties that he had killed. At this moment, he was comprehending the profound sword formation. Although the sword array was profound, with Lin Xian's heaven-defying talent, it was not difficult for him to cultivate it. However, this sword formation still needed some special conditions to be able to be completed. This was also why the Almighties had not used the Demon Slaying Sword Array. To cultivate the Annihilation Sword Array, one not only needed talent and strength, but also demonic beasts. The Demon Slaying Sword Array required the powerful essence, blood, and souls of demonic beasts. Only then could it be cultivated successfully. Moreover, it required a lot of demonic beasts. Some of them were even rare demonic beasts on the heaven and earth roll. Even the Purple Robe Elder, who was an almighty from the All Beginnings Holy Land, did not collect all of them. One could imagine how difficult it was to cultivate the Demon Slaying Sword Array. However, if one could successfully cultivate it, according to the description, one would possess heaven-defying might. Lin Xian didn't mind this difficulty. After all, he knew that cultivating a sword array wasn't something that could be mastered overnight. And he would not give up. Now, he was flying in Wanling Mountain. When he encountered a powerful demonic beast, he would naturally attack. According to his estimation, his identity had probably been exposed. After all, those people should be able to guess it with more analysis. At that time, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land's fifth bloodline would definitely not let him off. Most likely, the Wavering Light's sacred land would not let him off. He had to have enough ability to protect himself in order to survive the siege of so many holy lands. Furthermore, there was one more thing. He had to be strong because he was going to marry Murong Qingqing. If he didn't have enough strength, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground wouldn't have married Murong Qingqing to him. Along the way, Lin Xian killed 13 powerful demonic beast kings. He used their blood and demonic souls as the first batch of energy to cultivate the Demon Slaying Sword Array. However, there was a group of people flying rapidly on several mountain tops not far from where they were. Wanling Mountain was dangerous, but it didn't stop cultivators from yearning for this place. This was because there were all kinds of heavenly treasures, spiritual herbs in Wanling Mountain. Moreover, although the demonic beast kings were ferocious, their bodies were full of treasures. Scales, teeth, horns, and other things could be used to make weapons. Demonic cores and blood could be used for cultivation. Therefore, there would always be a large number of cultivators entering Wanling Mountain. Looking at the group of people moving quickly, they should be such cultivators. However, their current condition wasn't good. Furthermore, they seemed to be in a very sorry state. Every one of them was injured. Their clothes were tattered and their hair was disheveled. It was as if they had just experienced a great battle. Two figures were in the lead. One was a white-haired old man and the other was a young woman wearing green battle armor. Judging from their identities and attire, they should be the leaders of this group of cultivators. However, the young woman was also in a very sorry state at this moment. Her aura was extremely chaotic. If not for the white-haired old man's king's domain, she probably wouldn't be able to fly. "Grandpa, that bastard is almost here! What should we do?" The young woman in green used her soul power to check the situation behind her. Her delicate face turned even paler. ****. Why would an earth demon appear in this place? That's a powerful 7-star demon king! The young woman in green sounded like she was about to cry. It was obvious that the earth demon beasts behind them had terrified them. The other cultivators also looked solemn. Their scalps were numb. They only cared about running forward crazily. As for the white-haired old man, he frowned. This earth demon beast was very difficult to deal with. Moreover, it was good at burrowing. They probably couldn't escape. Looking at his beloved granddaughter beside him, the white-haired old man sighed. The light in his eyes gradually became sharp. "Schwer, bring your men and leave Wanling Mountain first. I will stop that earth demon beast for a while. Hurry up and leave. Don't stay. Also, don't come back to Wanling Mountain for a year," the white-haired old man said in a deep voice. "No! Grandfather, you can't stay here!" When the young woman in green heard this, she shook her head frantically. The other cultivators also tried to persuade him. Although the white-haired old man was powerful, he couldn't fight against such a powerful earth demon beast. "Don't worry. No matter what, I'm a top 6-star king. Although I can't kill that beast, it's not a problem to fight it. Moreover, if it doesn't work, I have the ability to protect myself and escape." However, the young woman in green shook her head. "Grandfather, don't lie to me. That earth demon beast is a terrifying 7-star demon king. Even an almighty can't do anything to it. You're just courting death if you stay here. I don't want you to lose your life because of us." Then, the other cultivators fell silent. The young woman in green was right. The earth demon beast was extremely terrifying. Even an almighty might not be able to fight against it. If the white-haired old man stayed, the consequences would be terrible. He might even be torn in half by the earth demon beast. However, at this moment, these people frowned. They realized that there was smoke floating around them. There was also the fragrance of barbecued meat. "Someone is starting a fire!" the young woman in green exclaimed. She was extremely surprised. The white-haired old man was also surprised. Who would dare to be so arrogant in the forest? Wasn't he afraid of attracting a powerful demon king? Chapter 1961. They were indeed surprised because this fragrance could attract some demonic beasts and cause a huge battle. However, the other party did not care at all and allowed the fragrance to float around. Obviously, the other party was an expert and was not afraid of attracting demonic beasts. Thinking of this, a hint of hope appeared in their eyes. "Let's go!" The white-haired old man waved his hand and led the dozen or so cultivators forward quickly. The fragrance of meat and smoke in front of them became thicker and thicker. They could even see flames ahead. Moreover, there was the smell of blood and blood in the surroundings. Obviously, some demonic beasts had been killed here. Moreover, the trenches on the ground were even more shocking. There was still a trace of very strong sword she left on them. The woman in green and the other kings could not sense it. They only felt that a huge battle had happened around them. However, the white-haired old man's pupils shrank, and his face was filled with shock. This was because he felt a sense of horror from the sword she. Although he was a peak 6-star king, he could not resist at all in front of the sword she. Even his body began to tremble slightly. "Who is it? It's so terrifying. Could it be an almighty?" He was extremely shocked. Meanwhile, the woman in green and the dozen or so cultivators continued to fly forward. Soon they were stunned. This was because there was indeed someone beside the fire. It was a young man in a red robe. He did not look very old, only in his 20s. At this moment, he was holding a cup of spirit wine and eating a piece of golden roast meat with relish. Beside him was a red snake that was more than a meter long and a snow-white monkey. They were all eating golden roast meat. This scene surprised everyone. However, when they quickly glanced at the red-robed young man, they revealed disappointed expressions. This was because the red-robed young man's aura was only that of a 6-star king. Although such a person was very powerful among the younger generation, he could not fight against the earth devil beasts behind them. The woman in green and the others were extremely disappointed. Among them, someone shook his head. "Sigh, this young man is too arrogant. He's a 6-star king, and he dares to roast meat in the forest? Isn't he afraid of attracting other powerful demon kings? He's too young. He's probably a genius disciple of some family. Although he has some talent, he has no experience in surviving in the wild." Some people shook their heads and ignored the red-robed young man. They prepared to flee for their lives again. However, at that moment, the white-haired old man arrived before them. When he saw the red-clothed young man, his body trembled. This was because he could sense a remnant sword chi from the other party's body. Could it be that those sword scars were left behind by this young man? Thinking of this, the white-haired old man was terrified. "Grandpa, let's go. There's nothing to see. He's just an expert of the younger generation. He can't provide us with any help at all." The green-clothed woman shook her head. "That's right, elder. Let's go quickly. If we stay any longer, I'm afraid that beast will come," everyone said. However, the white-haired old man did not listen. He only looked at the red-robed man in front of him. The red-robed young man's expression was calm, and he didn't even look around. He just slowly tasted the roasted meat. The white-haired old man gritted his teeth as if he had made a decision. Soon, he walked forward. However, when he came to the side of the red-robed youth, he suddenly knelt down with a plop. "What?" The green-clothed woman and the dozen or so martial artists behind her were all stunned by this scene. They didn't expect the white-haired old man to kneel to a young man. It was too shocking. "Grandpa, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Why are you kneeling to a young man? He's not strong at all. He can't provide us with any help. Elder, let's go quickly." The martial artists behind them were puzzled. The red-robed young man in front of them also frowned, because he didn't expect the white-haired old man in front of him to kneel directly. That's right, the red-robed young man was naturally Lin Xian. He was cultivating the demon-slaying sword array while he hurried on his way. At this moment, he was resting. He naturally noticed the arrival of the dozen or so people, but he didn't pay attention to them. Because he didn't know them at all, he didn't need to pay attention to them. However, he didn't expect the old man in front of him to kneel directly. Naturally, he knew what the old man meant. Looking at their miserable expressions and the injuries on their bodies, it was obvious that they had encountered some kind of powerful demon king. There was no way for them to escape, so they could only find an expert to help them. "Young hero, please help us. Save our lives. We'll definitely repay you," the white-haired old man said in a deep voice again. "Repay? Sure, what do you have to repay me?" Lin Xian asked indifferently. "We have some supreme-grade sub-divine crystals, some heaven and earth treasures, and the cores of demon beasts. As long as you're willing, you can take them all. Young hero, please help us." "What? Grandpa, are you crazy? This is something that we worked hard for over a month to get." Hearing this, the green-robed young girl screamed. They risked their lives for more than a month to get these things. Now, they were going to give them all to someone else. Moreover, it was a red-robed young man who didn't seem very strong. Naturally, she couldn't accept this. "Shut up!" the white-haired old man shouted coldly. Then, he turned around and continued, "Young hero, please don't be offended. My granddaughter is inexperienced and doesn't know how powerful you are. If she offended you, I'll apologize on her behalf. Well, did you get a wood attribute demon core? Give it to me and I can save your lives, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Okay, thank you, young hero. I'll get it now. Hearing this, the white-haired old man was overjoyed. He quickly turned around to take out the demon core. However, the green-robed young girl was still unwilling to give up. Grandpa, that would attribute demon core was hard for us to get. It's close to the demon core of a 7-star demon king. Why give it to this guy? This guy doesn't look very strong. He can't deal with the earth magic beast. It's a waste to give him the wood attribute demon core. Why don't we run away? If we're lucky, we might be able to escape. However, the white-haired old man ignored his granddaughter. Instead, he took out a fist-sized demon core that was shining with green light from his storage ring. He gave it to Lin Xian. Lin Xian took it and nodded. He said indifferently, Okay, you can go now. I'll block the danger behind you. What? We can go now. This time, the green-robed young girl was unhappy before the white-haired old man said anything. Chapter 1962. Let us go after you've taken the items. What if you run away too? Kid, I think you're a liar. Swear. Shut up. The white-haired elder shouted coldly. He had gone through so much trouble to invite the other party. If his granddaughter angered the other party, none of them would be able to escape. The lady in green was furious and wanted to say something. However, at this moment, the ground began to tremble rapidly. Cracks appeared under their feet and quickly spread in all directions. Seeing this, the lady in green could not be bothered to say anything else. She screamed. The other dozen or so martial artists all had terrified looks in their eyes because they knew that the Earth Devil Beast was coming. The white-haired elder was also shocked. However, he quickly said in a low voice, This is not the Earth Devil's true body. It's a clone formed by the demonic chi on his body and the rocks on the ground. We still have a chance to escape. Hearing that it was a clone, these people were not careless. Even a clone was very powerful. They would need to use all their strength to deal with it. Boom! Indeed, in the next moment, the ground cracked open and a huge pit appeared. Then, the demonic chi and the huge rocks formed a demonic beast. It bared its fangs and claws and roared crazily. Formation! Attack with me! The white-haired elder shouted. Immediately, the warriors behind him stepped on mysterious runes and started to form a huge formation. They were ready to join forces to fight the enemy. At this moment, Lin Xian raised his arm and waved his hand. Immediately, countless icy auras spread out rapidly, instantly freezing the clones of the demonic beasts in front of them. Ka ka ka! Once the icy aura was released, the surrounding area was covered in ice. Snowflakes fell from the sky. The white-haired elder, the lady in green, and the other kings were all trembling. They felt like they were being frozen. As for the clone in front of them, it was frozen in an instant. It could not resist at all. Boom! Then, Lin Xian waved his finger. Suddenly, the huge ice block in front of them shattered, forming ice shards on the ground. As for the Earth Devil Beast clone, it was instantly killed. What? How is this possible? The lady in green was stunned. The other kings were all stunned. They looked at this scene in disbelief. That was the Earth Devil Beast clone. His strength was incomparably strong. Even if all of them fought with all their strength, they would only be able to fight to a draw. But now, the young man in front of him had easily gotten rid of an Earth Devil Beast clone with a wave of his hand. They couldn't believe it. The white-haired old man was also extremely shocked, but he soon became excited. Because he realized that he had guessed correctly. The young man in front of him was definitely terrifyingly powerful. It was very likely that he was a saint of some great sect or a peerless genius of a clan of the ancients. He knew that these people were able to protect their lives, and the green woman was also extremely scared. Only now did she know why her grandfather was so humble. The strength of the young man in front of them was far beyond their imagination. Thus, she hurriedly said respectfully, "Young master, I've offended you before. I hope you won't blame me. It's nothing, you guys can go. As for the earth devil beast in the back, I'll help you block it." With that, Lin Xian waved his hand and took the crimson dragon and the snow-white monkey with him. Then, he turned into a sword light and disappeared. "Ha ha, kid, you've gained quite a lot this time. Not only did you get a wood-type demonic core, but you also know the whereabouts of the earth devil beast," the crimson dragon said with a smile. "That's right. The earth devil beast was an earth-type demonic beast, and it seemed to be a 7-star demonic king. If he could get its blood demonic soul, then he could use the demon's slaying sword formation. In the future, as he collected more demonic souls, the demon's slaying sword formation would become more and more powerful." Lin Xian was very surprised. He didn't expect to encounter an earth devil beast here. He was really lucky. Therefore, this was also one of the reasons why he helped those people. Boom! 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 Angry roars came from a distance in the forest. Obviously, it was from an earth devil beast. When he discovered that his clone had been killed, he was incomparably furious. How could he allow the prey he had set his eyes on to escape? Therefore, it roared like a madman. Not only that, but it also increased its speed. Once it used the earth burrowing technique, it traveled 1,000 miles in an instant. Roar! Soon, it discovered that there was a human's aura in front of it, flying towards it. This made it extremely furious. Someone actually dared to walk towards it. That person was courting death. In the next moment, it directly attacked. The merciless earthquake caused cracks to spread. A large stone hand condensed in front of it, and quickly slapped forward. This stone hand was extremely huge, covering the sky and the sun. It carried a thick demonic aura, showing its incomparably powerful strength. Boom! In an instant, it covered Lin Xian and was about to mercilessly land on him. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a powerful icy aura instantly surged out. Then, a blue giant sword soared into the sky. Boom! Boom! In the next moment, countless frosts formed on the sky-covering hand, and the speed of its descent became slower and slower. Finally, it froze in the sky. Then, the blue sword light flashed and split the stone hand in half. Boom! At this moment, the ground cracked open, and a huge creature appeared on the ground. It was like a large lizard, and its body was covered in gray scales. However, it wasn't a lizard, but an earth devil beast. The aura on its body was monstrous, as if an ancient demonic beast had awakened. "Human, come and die!" The earth devil beast let out a cold voice, not taking Lin Xian seriously at all. Humph! Lin Xian didn't talk nonsense. This earth devil beast happened to be one of the demonic beasts he needed, so he directly attacked. Sword chi flashed on his body, and the dragon sword domain directly appeared in the air, enveloping the front. Terrifying sword light filled the sky, piercing through the void and directly slashing down. Humph, an ant dares to attack me? You're courting death. The earth devil beast sneered. It could naturally sense that Lin Xian's cultivation was only a 6-star king. Such a person was an ant in front of it. It wasn't enough to fill the gap between its teeth, and it actually dared to attack it. Therefore, endless demonic aura spread out from its body, and the ground around it cracked open, forming a huge stone giant that charged forward. Boom! The stone giant continued to expand until it was 1,000 feet tall, and collided with the dragon sword domain. Suddenly, a thunderous sound was heard. Cracks appeared in the void, and a large area of forest collapsed. The endless ground cracked open, and one gully after another appeared. However, Lin Xian was calm. He controlled the dragon sword domain and attacked again. Suddenly, the dragon sword domain changed. Countless sword chi condensed and then formed 2 dragon claws that grabbed at the huge stone giant. The 2 dragon claws were extremely real, as if a real dragon had awakened. Then, they pierced through the void and grabbed at the stone giant. Chapter 1963. The two dragon claws were incomparably real, as if a real dragon had awakened. Then, he pierced through the void and grabbed at the rock giant. Two transparent holes appeared on the rock giant's body. Then, it turned into countless boulders and scattered on the ground. Not only that, Lin Xian controlled his two dragon claws to grab the earth devil beast. Clang! Clang! Suddenly, the sound of metal colliding rang out. Sparks flew in all directions, and the void was about to collapse. What a powerful physique! As expected of a 7-star demon king. Lin Xian was extremely amazed. This claw of his could crush an ordinary demon monarch willow star. However, the earth devil beast before him was actually not injured at all. It was merely sent flying. One could imagine how powerful the earth devil beast's physique was. It was definitely more than 10 times stronger than a 6-star demon king. Courting death. Damned human, you've angered me! The earth devil beast roared crazily. A mere human and dared to send it flying? This was an unforgivable crime. In the next moment, it opened its mouth and spat out a ball of black flames that swept forward. The great flames engulfed the two dragon claws formed by the sword chi and quickly melted them. Soon, the dragon claw was burned clean. Not only that, but the gray flames also flew towards Lin Xian, wanting to refine him as well. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. With a wave of his hand, the devil's sword chopped down. The terrifying great dragon's sword chi gushed out quickly, and the sharp sword light directly extinguished the gray flames that filled the sky. At the same time, the sea god's ice gushed out crazily, forming an icy wind that flew in the sky. The boundless icy aura rushed towards the demonic beasts below. Caw caw caw! The earth devil beast spat out balls of black flames to fight back. However, his movements were restricted to a certain space. Lin Xian, on the other hand, took advantage of this opportunity and used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps to arrive behind the earth devil beast. His demonic sword transformed into a black dragon that spat out rays of light as it pierced towards the earth devil beast's weak spots. This earth devil beast's weak point was hidden very well. Ordinary people would not be able to discover it. Even a mighty figure might not be able to discover it. However, Lin Xian was different. He possessed the heavenly fate divine eyes. Nothing could be hidden from those eyes. Wang! The sword chi pierced through the earth devil beast's vitals and broke through its defenses. Blood spurted out as the earth devil beast's body was sent flying. Boom! Boom! 2 mountain peaks in the distance were knocked down by the huge body of the earth devil beast and collapsed. The ground cracked open, and a terrifying crater appeared. Countless rocks smashed into the earth devil beast's body, drowning it. Roar! An earth-shattering sound came from the rubble. Then, the boulders were smashed apart and turned into dust. The enormous body of the earth devil beast appeared once again. Its eyes were bloodshot and filled with boundless fury. This time, it was truly furious. With a wave of the beast's claw, it spread out for thousands of miles, turning into a gigantic claw that slammed down viciously. Not only that, but his body also emitted gray flames that formed a gray mist that corroded the void. This was a terrifying poison. Even if a powerful being inhaled it, they would be poisoned. 2 different types of attacks quickly flew towards Lin Xian. Dang! The gray claw slammed onto Lin Xian's body. Fortunately, Lin Xian summoned the mystic jade battle armor in time. Although he was sent flying, he did not suffer much damage. In the next moment, Lin Xian used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and appeared in front of the earth devil beast again. The gray claw that had materialized was directly sliced into 2 halves. Roar! The earth devil beast rolled on the ground in pain. Its huge body rolled on the ground, shattering forests and mountains one after another. It was furious and terrified at the same time. One had to know that it was a 7-star demon king with a strong physique. Even a powerful being of the same level might not be able to break through its defenses. But now, a 6-star king had actually broken through his defenses so easily. He couldn't believe it. The other party's sword chi was too sharp. It had never seen anything like it in its life. It did not know that Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul offensive saint technique was unparalleled in the world. In addition, his strength had increased greatly. Now, he had the strength to kill powerful beings. Therefore, although the Earth Devil Beast was strong, it was still at a disadvantage in the hands of Lin Xian. Roar! Damn human, I'll remember you! The Earth Devil Beast roared and turned to escape. Boundless demon chi wrapped around its huge body and flew into the distance. To be honest, it was really scared. It had never seen such a powerful human. Moreover, the other party was too young. It knew that this was the top young genius of the human race. It might not be able to fight against him. As a demon beast, it was very cunning. Therefore, it did not fight against him at all. Instead, it turned to escape. Boom! However, just as it was about to escape, a dark red figure appeared in the sky. Then, a red light rolled over like a river. It directly hit its body and sent it flying. Boom! The Earth Devil Beast's huge body was sent flying again. It roared crazily. It was really aggrieved, because it did not see clearly what had sent it flying. Moreover, as a 7-star demon king, it was the overlord of this forest. But now, it was sent flying twice in just a few moments. Moreover, one of its claws was cut off. It had not encountered such a serious injury in hundreds of years. Damn it, what the hell is this? Get out here! The Earth Devil Beast got up and roared crazily. Its eyes were fixed on the front. In front of it, a red light appeared, and the figure of the Crimson Dragon appeared. It was the one who used its dragon tail to send the Earth Devil Beast flying to prevent it from escaping. A puny Earth Devil Beast dares to be arrogant in front of me? You're courting death. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. Roar! The Earth Devil Beast was so angry that it vomited blood. A damned snake dared to look down on it? It could not tolerate it. Therefore, in the next moment, the Earth Devil Beast stretched its neck. Its head was extremely ferocious and instantly arrived in front of the Crimson Dragon. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow the Crimson Dragon. Crawling snake, go to hell! The Earth Devil Beast opened its mouth and swallowed the Crimson Dragon as if it could swallow the sky. I'll beat you! The Crimson Dragon was also angry. How dare the Earth Devil Beast call it a snake? He really didn't know what to do. Therefore, in the next moment, its body quickly enlarged and turned into a divine dragon that was hundreds of feet long. Its terrifying dragon scales shone with a cold light in the air. In the next moment, its body collided with the bloody mouth, and a shocking collision sound was heard. Countless lightning bolts fell, and the Earth Devil Beast screamed and was sent flying again. Not only that, its teeth were shattered. Shocking, it was really too shocking. Its teeth could be said to be very sharp and could bite through Earth-grade treasures. But now, it was unable to bite through the body of a snake, which surprised it. However, in the next moment, when it saw the hundreds of feet-long divine dragon in front of it, it was even more frightened. Chapter 1964. Dragon, you're actually a dragon! The Earth Demon screamed. He did not expect to meet a dragon here. Isn't that a legendary creature that only existed in ancient times? It should be extinct now. But why did it appear now? He was too shocked. As a 7-star demon king, he knew more. Although the current powerful demon kings had the bloodline of the dragon race, they were not real dragons. They were flood dragons. The real dragon race only existed in ancient times. Now, they could not be seen at all. But he did not expect to see a real dragon flying in the sky. A dragon that only existed in legends. This made it extremely terrified. Damn it, who is this kid? Why does he have a dragon by his side? The Earth Demon Beast did not dare to think. He turned into a demon cloud and flew in another direction. He knew that he could not continue fighting because he could not fight at all. If the two of them worked together, they could definitely kill him. So, he had to escape. However, in the next moment, he was stunned because there was a white, furry little monkey in front of him, blocking his way. Woo woo woo. The snow-white little monkey kept gesturing, telling the earth devil beast to obediently give up and not run away. This ignited the earth demon beast's anger. I can't beat the human brat, and I can't beat the mystical dragon. You're just a little white monkey, and you're so tiny. How dare you block my way? You're not even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. So in the next moment, the earth demon beast roared and spat out a ball of flames that swept forward. He was Demon King Qixing. Since when did a small monkey dare to block his way? But in the next moment, the white monkey's body swayed and turned into a white bolt of lightning, dodging the flames in the sky. In an instant, he arrived in front of the earth demon beast. He stretched out his furry paw and slapped the earth demon beast's face. Suddenly, the earth devil beast felt the sky darken, and its entire body became dizzy. Before he fainted, he was still thinking. What kind of monkey is this? It's too evil. Who is that young man? Why does he have so many mutated creatures around him? Each of them is a legendary existence. Boom! At this moment, Lin Xian attacked again. The demonic sword in his hand transformed into a giant sword that was hundreds of meters long, and he ruthlessly slashed at the earth devil beast. Immediately, a deep gash appeared in the ground, and the earth devil beast fell to the ground. However, as a 7-star beast king, the earth devil beast was extremely powerful. Therefore, this attack was not enough to kill him. However, Lin Xian didn't plan to waste any time. He immediately joined forces with the Crimson Dragon and the Snow-White Monkey. When the three of them joined forces, their might was unimaginable. A single earth devil beast was no match for him. Therefore, half a day later, the earth devil beast was killed, and blood flowed everywhere. Lin Xian didn't let go of this opportunity, and immediately started practicing the demon's slaying sword array. Streaks of mysterious sword runes appeared and merged with the blood. The earth devil beast's demon's soul was extracted and integrated into the sword array. The demon's slaying sword array was quickly taking shape. As for Lin Xian, he stood in the center of the sword formation. He was like a sword demon, capable of slashing the heavens and splitting the earth. In a city closest to Wanling Mountain, there was a piece of news circulating. It was said that a mysterious young expert had appeared in Wanling Mountain. His strength was unfathomable and had far surpassed the seniors. It was even rumored that he had killed the Earth Devil Beast's avatar with a gentle wave of his hand. What? He killed the Earth Devil Beast's avatar so easily? How is this possible? Isn't the Earth Devil Beast a 7-star beast king? No matter how powerful the younger generation is, they can't defeat a mighty demon beast. Are you kidding? Who said it's a joke? This news came from the Lu Mansion. Yes, it said that the elders of the Lu Mansion brought people to Wanling Mountain to collect spiritual herbs. In the end, they were chased by the Earth Devil Beast. Exactly. A young man in a red robe saved them. Could it be true? Everyone was discussing. As the Lu Mansion was one of the top families in the city, their words shouldn't be wrong. What does the mysterious young man look like? Where is his sect? At this moment, someone asked. This person sounded young, but his face couldn't be seen. This was because he was wearing a loose black robe that covered his body. His skin was pale and his eyes were twinkling like stars. I heard that he's a young man in his 20s. He's wearing a red robe. I don't know the details. If you want to know the details, go to the Lu Mansion. The news came from there. Lu Mansion? The mysterious man in a black robe said plainly. Then, his body swayed and turned into green smoke, disappearing from the spot. The Lu Mansion was one of the top families in the city. At this moment, an old man was sitting in a palace. It was the white-haired old man who had asked Lin Xian for help previously. Beside him was a lady in a green robe. It was the lady named Shuer from before. Grandfather, that young man in a red robe, which sacred grounds genius is he from? Isn't he a little too powerful? Can he really defeat the Earth Devil Beast? The white-haired old man shook his head slightly. The Earth Devil Beast is a real 7-star beast king. Its strength is terrifying. It's equivalent to a human almighty. Although that young man in a red robe is powerful, it's still impossible for him to kill a Almighty. Even a saint can't kill a Almighty. Will he be in danger? Hearing the white-haired old man's words, the lady in a green robe was a little worried. Swear, you shouldn't ask about that, young master. You're not even from the same world. The white-haired old man sighed. At least you have some self-awareness. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Who was it? Hearing this, the white-haired old man and the lady in a green robe were both shocked. The white-haired old man roared. His voice was like a wave that spread in all directions. He was too shocked. He didn't expect that someone would come to his side without him noticing. The person who came was definitely an expert. Therefore, in the next moment, he wanted to shout and alert the experts in his family. It's useless. Stop struggling. The entire palace is covered by my domain. You can't spread the news. At this moment, the cold voice sounded again. Then, the void in the palace fluctuated and a figure came out. It was a man in a black robe. Even his head was covered by a large cloak, making it impossible to see his true appearance. Who are you? What are you doing here? The white-haired old man asked coldly. His muscles were tense, and the spiritual energy in his body was circulating rapidly. As long as the other party made any dangerous moves, he would explode immediately. The lady in a green robe was also very nervous. Standing beside the white-haired old man, her beautiful eyes were filled with fear. Chapter 1965. She had never imagined that such a strange person would appear in her home. The black-robed man didn't speak any superfluous words. Instead, he coldly said, "Tell me everything you know about that red-clothed youth. Don't miss a single detail." What? You are looking for that red-clothed youth? The white-haired old man was stunned. He hadn't expected that this black-robed man would come for their benefactor. As for the green-clothed woman, she coldly snorted. You want to inquire about that red-clothed youth? Dream on. Humph. It seems that you still don't understand your current situation. The black-robed man sneered. Then, he stretched out his pale hand and gently waved it. Ah! The green-clothed woman immediately cried out in alarm. She felt the surrounding air solidify. It was as if an invisible cage had bound her body. Soon after, a mysterious power pulled her to the black-robed man's side. Buzz! In the next instant, countless golden rays of light appeared and enveloped the woman. The golden rays of light were like lightning blades. They instantly cut open the green-clothed woman's clothes. Bloody scars appeared on her snow-white skin. Ah! The green-clothed woman screamed. She was incomparably frightened and in pain. The white-haired old man also angrily roared. Stop! If you dare to harm my Schwer's life, I will fight you to the death. He hadn't expected that this mysterious black-robed man would be so arrogant as to instantly control Schwer. I will give you a chance. Tell me everything you know about that red-clothed youth. Otherwise, your granddaughter will lose her life. Fine, I will tell you everything. The white-haired old man clenched his teeth. He had no choice but to tell the black-robed man everything he knew. After hearing this, the black-robed man's eyes flickered. You are saying that there is a dark red snake beside him? It seems that it is him. Brat, even if you flee to the ends of the earth, I will still capture you. Since you dare to cause trouble in my all-beginnings holy land, there will be no way for you to survive. What? You are someone from the all-beginnings holy land? The white-haired old man was shocked. He hadn't expected that this strange and mysterious black-robed man would be an expert from the all-beginnings holy land. Humph! You know too much! The black-robed man coldly snorted. He waved his hand and countless golden rays of light instantly pierced through the green-clothed woman. No! Damn it! I will fight you to the death. When the white-haired old man saw this scene, he roared madly. He didn't expect that the red-clothed young man would still make a move after he revealed his information. In the next moment, he roared and struck out with both palms. With a wave of his sleeves, two massive palms struck forward. A wave-like shadow appeared between the palms of the raging waves. Humph! He was overestimating himself. The black-robed man smiled contemptuously. Then, with a flick of his finger, a golden ray of light turned into a huge golden saber and slashed forward. Suddenly, the terrifying palm was cut open. Not only that, but the white-haired old man's body also stiffened. A bloody wound appeared between his eyebrows, and blood quickly flowed out. Finally, he fell to the ground with a plop. A piece of trash actually wants to fight with me? The black-robed man sneered and shook his head. Then, he ignored the two of them. His entire body instantly disappeared. At the same time, the king's domain outside the palace disappeared in an instant. Wanling Mountain Range. Lin Xian flew rapidly. He was already very close to the depths of Wanling Mountain Range. However, the closer he got to the depths, the slower he became. That was because he felt an unknown pressure. The number of monster kings here was obviously much less than outside, but their auras were much stronger than outside. Every single one of them was a terrifying existence. Just the monster chi that they emitted was unbearable for ordinary kings. Fortunately, Lin Xian wasn't an ordinary person. His physique was strong. Once the great dragon sword soul was released, it could destroy the pressure. That was why he could continue moving forward. However, he was still careful. Because many of the monster kings here lived in groups. Once those monster kings came out, they were extremely terrifying. Even an almighty would have to retreat. Lin Xian usually didn't provoke such monster kings who lived in groups. However, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. Obviously, he was very satisfied because not long ago, she had refined the earth demon's monster soul and blood and completed the most basic demon-slaying sword formation. The demon-slaying sword formation was extremely terrifying. Even if she didn't use the great dragon sword soul, not many people below the Almighty could resist the demon-slaying sword formation. Moreover, this was only the most basic demon-slaying sword formation. As he killed more monster beasts and obtained more monster souls, the power of the demon-slaying sword formation would gradually increase. Soon, it seemed that it wouldn't be long before he reached the super teleportation formation. By then, he would be able to activate the teleportation formation and leave the southern region. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he scanned the surroundings with his soul power. However, he soon frowned. This was because he felt an extremely majestic aura coming towards him quickly. Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect to find other people in the depths of Wanling Mountain Range. Moreover, this aura was very strong. It should be an almighty. Lin Xian didn't know who was coming, so his figure flashed, and he was prepared to change his path. However, he realized that once he changed his path, the Almighty in the distance also changed his path and was still coming towards him. Humph! Seeing this, Lin Xian frowned. It was obvious that this person was coming for him. Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy and there was a sharp look in his eyes. Whoosh! Before long, the void flashed. Not far in front of Lin Xian, a figure appeared. It was a black-robed man. The wide black robe covered his entire body, making it impossible to see his appearance. One could only see an ice-cold gaze. It was like the boundless starry sky, deep and mysterious. Brat, it's really you. However, you're quite good at hiding. You actually came to the depths of Wanling Mountain Range. Ordinary people wouldn't expect this. The mysterious black-robed man said coldly. Who are you? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. At the same time, the black-robed man coldly snorted. What do I have to hide? Brat, you're quite stubborn. You dared to come to my All Beginnings Holy Lands market. Do you really think you can just walk away like this? All Beginnings Holy Land? Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect this person to be someone from the All Beginnings Holy Land. The fact that the other party was able to find this place was beyond his expectations. In the next moment, he coldly asked, Are you from the 5th bloodline? That's right, I am from the 5th bloodline. Since you dared to kill an almighty from my 5th bloodline, today will be the day you die. You know that I can kill an almighty, yet you still dare to chase after me? I have to say that you are really an idiot, Lin Xian sneered. He could feel that the mysterious black-robed man's aura had reached the level of an almighty. It was clear that this person was a powerhouse. But so what? His cultivation had already made a breakthrough. In addition to the demon-slaying sword array he had just learned, he could already kill an almighty by himself. As for the black-robed man, he didn't know this. He coldly sneered. I've already asked? You used a special spirit boat to kill an almighty. With your strength alone, it is impossible for you to contend against an almighty. After saying this, he stared at Lin Xian with a deep gaze. Then, he casually said, Don't worry, you're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.